Hey everybody, it's Chad with Nobody Else's Auto. 7 o'clock Sunday evening, time for some Sunday night live chat. So we've already got some friends with us on YouTube already. Chris is here, Charles is here, Bill Wagaman is here. And let's see, looks like we are connecting on Facebook as well. As usual, we are live on two formats, both Facebook and YouTube. I am watching two monitors, two screens, so as you see me glancing back and forth, that's what I am doing. So as we're getting into auctions, trivia, things like that, I am watching two different sets of comments as we work through things. Lee from New York's here with us. And got a few people jumping on Facebook as well. So anyway, give everybody a few more seconds to get their notifications and get ready to go so they know that we are live and we are ready to go tonight. But Kenny's on with us. All right. No comments on Facebook yet, but it looks like we've got some guys getting on with us. Kevin's on. Pete's here. But anyway, what's been going on this week? Gary's on with us. Alec is from New Hampshire with us on Facebook, so Facebook is working. That's always good to know. Sometimes it's a little questionable, but it is working as of right now. John's here. Tim's back. Gary is not messing around tonight. He's like, let's get this show on the road with some Hudson badge. How about that? What the heck? Let's just start everybody off on a good note. Give them both of them right out of the gate. That's right. Bill says hit the like button and the subscribe button. Thanks, Bill. Appreciate that. That's right. Gary says, here we go. He's ready. But hey, that's what it's all about. We're here to have a good time. We're here to talk about old cars. We're here to learn something, hopefully. Sometimes it's educational. Not always, but sometimes. Scott's on with us on Facebook. Tim's super excited about his IH badge and his can. Great. Those were great pieces. Dave from George is here. Billy Bowman's on with us. Bill Disk made it. Joining from Georgia for the next few shows. Doing some job training. Hope everything's going down good down there. Tweedly D. David W. Alec likes his badge last week. Yeah, that was a cool piece. Kind of a one-year only deal. That is a very unique piece. So Brian Dispatch is here. Eric's on with us. Kenny's here. Tony's back. Just keep things rolling while we're going. Why not, huh? Addie's on with us. So, but always all kinds of interesting things going on. Wall DC's here. Everybody's got their beer mugs up and ready to go. That's always a good sign. Tweety D says, hit the like button. I appreciate that. Eric, did I get your payment? Yeah, I think I got everybody's. Other than, I think Mark was sending a check. I think I got everything last week other than Mark because he called and said he was sending a check. So, Alan from Arizona got his can perfect. Let's see. Yep, I got you, Eric. We're good. We're good to go. So, anyway, lots of things going on. 2 Meekums this weekend. Kenny got his plate. Great. Looks like a lot of stuff's already shown up. I shipped a bunch more of it yesterday. Dennis is here. So, yeah, the first stuff went out Tuesday. Yeah, okay. Well, I guess the cat's out of the bag. Yeah, it is my birthday today, since Addie told everybody. But, yeah, it actually is officially my birthday. So, thanks for all the birthday wishes, everybody. I didn't plan on that. I just kind of thought I'd just kind of let it slide under the radar, but obviously that didn't work out. What's on the shelf above my head? More Hudson badges. Yeah, Addie says, not when she's my child. I'm not going to get away with it. Up on the shelf tonight, we've got a Sinclair dyno can. Litholine multi-purpose grease. It has a small dyno on the bottom. Still a great can. Pretty clean. I actually got I bought this from Tim from Mr. Good Pliers when I was down seeing Tim, and I bought this from him because it was like, I just loved it. He wouldn't sell it. I was like, come on, dude, sell it. I'd like beat on him for a while, but he finally sold it to me. But it is a pretty nice can, 1 pound grease can. So, yep, Tim's birthday is tomorrow, and Jess's birthday was yesterday. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, it was Jess yesterday, me today, and then Tim tomorrow. So yeah, have a Sinclair litholine. It's even got Sinclair with little dinos on the cap. So dented on the bottom, but still a pretty cool piece. Anyway, let's see. I guess it's just all birthday wishes. So I appreciate that, guys. Appreciate everybody's support. Just appreciate you being here and hanging out with us and making this what it is. So Rusty's here with us. Auburn badge. Alex digging the can too. Yeah, it is a nice can. I was pretty excited about it. Like I said, that's why I kept working on him to try to get it to sell to him, but he didn't want to sell it, but just took some work. So anyway, well, I guess the cat's out of the bag for the rest of the night, but appreciate everybody. Appreciate all the birthday wishes. So anyway, but back to where we were at. I kind of got off track there for a second. Thanks, Scott. My birthday wishes coming on Facebook too. So I appreciate it, everybody. I do. It's just another day. I'm just getting older. I still had to do everything I had to do today to get ready for tonight. So kind of a normal day, not too big a deal. But yeah, they did 2 Meekums this weekend, on the same weekend, one in Chattanooga, one in Chicago. I assume it all worked. I haven't heard from anybody that was at either event. My good buddy Jim Wicks was not going to either one, shockingly. He had a Shelby event that he had to attend this weekend. So don't know how it all went. Looked at the results, and my personal opinion is we're starting to finally see some corrections in the market. Things are looking more normal again. Wall DC was in Chicago. So how did all that go? I got a cake as well. I'm yellow cake, chocolate frosting. That's kind of my thing for birthday cake. So yeah, did Chicago go pretty smooth? Wall DC, did it all work out pretty well, or they have pretty good flow? Didn't have any issues? I don't know. All I know is I looked at the results, and like I said, things are at least seeming to look normal again. If a vehicle I thought was a mid-20s car, it was bringing anywhere from 22 to 28,000. I saw it just everything was kind of clicking where it should be. Number one, is there a reason you look younger and rested tonight? No, I'm actually kind of wore out. Pretty tired, actually. So I saw a lot more reality, I guess is the best way to put it, in the auction results compared to what we've been seeing over the last, year and a half or so. Jeff Famata was here with us. And a lot of 90s pickups and even early 2000s pickups. So Wall DC at 06 Mustang with 5,000 miles brought 19 grand, which is probably, for today's world, probably not out of line. So Jason's here. And that's kind of what I saw, more reality in a lot of the pricing. But the late 90s, early 2000s pickups, holy cow. Not only are there tons of them, if they're clean originals, they are bringing good money, So that's right, John. They are heading up in value. We are starting to see it. If you want, if that's kind of your thing, if there's something you want on an 88 to 98 Chevy pickup, or even a 99 to 07 Chevy pickup, or a 94 to 02 Dodge, or that the 90, even the early 87 to 96 Ford, or the first generation Super Duties, if you want one of those trucks, now is the time to get it, because they are not going to get any cheaper, especially if it is a Cummins or a Stroker. Cummins and Power Strokes are already getting tough to buy, especially if they're low mileage. If it's under 100,000 miles on a clean truck, which and you'd say that there's ain't a lot of them left. Those diesels were bought to be used hard. Finding a nice, clean 94 to 02 Cummins or that first generation Super Duty with a Power Stroke in it is hard. And they're only going to get worse, and they're only going to get more valuable. Wall DC, a 49 Plymouth sold for $9,000. If it was a basic regular car, that was probably about right. And there again, that's more along the lines of what you would expect to see. Bill Disk's got a 95 F-150 and an 89 1500 Chevy. So that there again, now's the time to get those vehicles if you want them. Number one's out till supper's over because everything's boiling over. You better get to that, number one. Don't make a mess. John bought a 95 Chevy last month. Don't need it, but it got a good deal. And that's exactly right. And I think I don't think that's a bad plan at all because that stuff is going up. Big Job's here with us. At a Sunday wedding. Well, I'm glad you had a minute to jump on with us. Kevin's got a 98 Chevy. Yeah, that's all where it's going. Pete, I watched an old Toy Tuesday before he started following. It was about B29s. So thanks, Pete. And that's something else to think about. If you guys haven't been on here, I've been on YouTube for about 3 years. Been on for about 3.5. Been doing it religiously for 3 years. The first 6-8 months was just kind of actually about the first 10 months was just testing, playing, not consistent. Throw a few videos out, see what happened. Throw a few videos out, see what happened. I've been doing it consistently for 3 years. So there's a lot of old stuff you guys probably haven't seen. You might want to check out. Jason wore his nobody's shirt to the rod run today. Tons of people commented on it. Thanks, Jason. I appreciate that. Throwing sparks, that's another thing. The 12 valve Cummins engines are being swapped into everything. So there again, you find a good, clean, original pickup with its original motor. I think that's going to be something. Invited some giant Kiwi from New Zealand to join the chat. So be polite. Be polite to the Kiwi. We'll have to see if he jumps on with us. 454 SS, that's another good one, Eric Roseberry from the early 90s. Have not touched the airplane yet, so we got some Auburn badge. So yeah, if that's stuff you like, now's the time to get it, I think. Big Job has to get back to the wedding. Glad you stopped in for a while, though, Big Job. So anyway, I guess we'll see what the results are overall and how things worked as to whether Meekum can pull 2 of these off. In the same weekend. They apparently did it. We'll see what the feedback is on how it all went. Let's see. Fair telling Big Job to stay on, just keep the sound down. But just out of curiosity, I did call Norma this week, and she has a torn ACL. So she is not getting around very well and not feeling real great. So she told everybody, said she misses everybody. She will be back with us as soon as she can. So that's I did want to share that with you. Hutch Swap Meet is coming up next weekend. I am going to try to go to the Hutch Swap Meet Friday morning. So if you're going to be anywhere around the Hutchinson, Kansas Swap Meet, be sure to look me up. Wall DC had 2 tables of Piatone. Nice turnout. Got rid of a lot of small stuff. Sweet. I've never been to any of those big oil and gas shows. Always want to go, just haven't done it. So Hutch Swap Meet coming up next weekend. I'm planning on being there on Friday. So if anybody's around. Something else I'm trying. I haven't got there yet. I'm trying. I've got it on my phone. I've been watching tutorials. I seen Jason actually found me on there last night when I was playing with it. I'm trying to figure out how to do TikTok for whatever that's worth. Everybody's telling me you need to do TikTok. I have no clue. I've got it downloaded. I'm studying tutorials. So if you're on TikTok, look me up, add me or whatever. It's all Greek to me. I'm learning it. So, but I do have TikTok on my phone, and hopefully I will be doing TikTok in the near future. We'll see how that works out. Yeah. John says can't help me there. Something else that kind of weird that happened. Actually started about a week and a half ago, but I got deeper into it this week. So we're going to have a little bit of a history lesson here as we lead into something that actually I'm getting deeper and deeper involved with. But I'm going to give you guys a little bit of history. TikTok is, yeah, that's right. TikTok, 3 minutes is your max on TikTok throwing sparks. I did learn that much. 30 seconds, 60 seconds, or 3 minutes. But that is your max on them. But like I said, it's all Greek to me. We'll get there one of these days. I'll be able to fumble something out. But I got a call about a week and a half ago about a dashboard. Somebody looking for a dashboard for a car from the 50s. So I started asking some questions. We started having a conversation. I found out what the gist of this project was. And I ended up getting a very interesting history lesson. And I want to share that with you here for a few minutes as we move forward. And then you'll get up to where I'm going with this. But there is a road back east that actually runs from Maryland to Illinois. And it was originally called the National Road. It ran from Maryland through Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, and into Illinois. It was called the National Road. Now, the National Road actually started, that's right, Walt, you see it ended up being US 40. You're exactly right. Albert Gallatin, Secretary of Treasury under Thomas Jefferson, developed the concept of the historic National Road. Authorized by Congress in 1806, it became the nation's first federally funded interstate highway, opening up in the country and facilitating America's westward expansion. That's right. Lots of comments about Norma. So yeah, she said she's hanging in there. She's got to have surgery and get it fixed, but she does miss us. She said tell everybody hi, and she'll be back with us as soon as she can. So Nate, you have to get some rollerblades to do the walk around videos with those kind of time limits. Yeah. In 1811, over 200 years ago, a contract was awarded to build the first 10 miles of the road with strict requirements regarding the width, surface, and elevations. By 1818, the road had crossed Pennsylvania and West Virginia and was as far as the Ohio River. There was debate as this road started crossing states as to who was responsible. By the 1830s, the federal government had conveyed the responsibility of maintenance for the road to the states through which it runs. And this is there again, remember, we're in the 1830s. The historic national road soon became a toll road as most of the states erected toll gates and toll houses to collect fees from those using the roads. So toll roads, nothing new. The very first highway, the very first national highway by 1830 was a toll road. So next time you stop and pay your tolls, don't think it's anything new. It's been going on for 200 years. As work on the road progressed, the settlement pattern of towns and villages developed, still visible to travelers today. The road became the main street in those early years, earning the nickname the Main Street of America. And you got to remember, at this point, everything is wagon trails. I mean, actually having a designated rocked or paved, or paved with something or rock road was a pretty big deal because everything was still wagon trails and horseback. Mile markers became important. They were an important component of the early national travel because they lined the road telling travelers how far they were from the next destination. Brian Dispatch at least says we'll get better deals on the plates while she's out. So the 1840s were peak years for travel along the road. Taverns and inns enjoyed brisk business, and the road was celebrated in song, story, painting, and poetry. Stage lines transported famous people along the national highway. But by the middle of the 19th century, a new form of transportation, the railroad. The iron horse had overtaken the national road as far as importance. Move a lot more freight, a lot more people, a lot faster. At this point, the national road experienced a steady decline in use because of the railroads and canal routes. Bill Diskett also runs in Delaware, lives down the street from it. Life along the National Historic Road actually grew quiet in the late 1800s. However, in the early 19th century, or in the early 20th century, that all changed, as we all know, for the reason that we're all here, the automobile. The coming of the automobile and a new wave of touring in motor cars. Tourists driving the road stopped at the many waysides to eat, shop, sleep, causing a new generation of travel and entertainment facilities to appear on the landscape. The Federal Aid Road Act of 1916, as the first federal highway funding law, established aid for the highways as national policy, was instrumental in extending and improving the country's road system. The Federal Highway Act of 1921 provided a national highway system of roads that would allow transcontinental travel. Many roads, including the National Historic Road, were realigned and incorporated as part of the U.S. highway system, which is when the road now became U.S. Highway 40, U.S. Route 40 in the 1920s. Let's see, get caught up on some comments here. Frost, how common are the 70 Coronet four-door? They were fairly common, but you'll see a lot of them anymore because most of them didn't get saved. Sebastian's here with us. Jeff, you're riding a horse, would it be easier to bypass the 12 booths? Good point. Anthony's here. Running late on the West Coast time, so... Wall DC says there's a great National Road Museum near Norwich, Ohio on US 40. So now that the route had been designated US Route 40, it had been the busiest since its heyday of the 1840s. However, instead of Conestoga wagons and stagecoaches, it became trucks, buses, and automobiles. Inns and taverns were updated as restaurants, and hotels and motels. Hustle and bustle had returned to the road. Eloy made it. Now, however, that, obviously a lot of these earlier roads became overshadowed in the mid-50s as the National Interstate Act was signed and the interstate highway system became or was put into effect in the late 50s. A lot of these interstates, overshadowed a lot of these small 2-lane roads, which is kind of what happened to US Route 40. And obviously they're still being used, but obviously the interstates have overshadowed it. The Historic National Road was designated as a National Historic Civil Engineering Landmark in 1976 and a State Heritage Park in 1994. It also earned the designation as a National Scenic Byway and an All-American Road in 2002. So there's a little bit of history on the National Road, and I've got a little map I'm going to show you. Yep, never have seen Gray Kitty. She must have completely wandered off. So, John, how exciting it must have been back then as the roads and autos were being introduced. That's true, for sure. Let's see. Jennifer is slowly getting better, says Jason. Slowly but surely. That's a good sign. Slowly but surely is okay. That's all right. Ozark Fox used to drive a truck and believe were grooves in US 40. But here's a small map of where the route, kind of ran that they had on the website. So a lot of you are probably wondering why we're talking about the National Road, US 40 back east. Well, I got this call looking for a dashboard for a car from the 50s. And I was trying to figure out, obviously, what kind of dashboard do you want? What do you want it out of? What do you want it to? Well, we need it for display. Okay, what do you want it to look like? All I can say is something from the 50s. So I started asking more questions. And finally, they finally said, well, here's what we're trying to do. Zach's here. Whiskey Business is on with us. And it was a design company who was working with the National Road Heritage Foundation, and they are building a National Road Museum in Boonesboro, Maryland. It is in conjunction with the Trolley Station Museum in Boonesboro, and they're working on this museum about the National Road. So they needed car stuff for their display. So that's why they called me for a dash. So I started, okay, so then I asked even more questions, trying to put the pieces together. And so they finally, after some couple of conversations with Ruth, the designer, with a company called Ion Design Works, and you can look them up, iondesignworks.com. They specialize in doing displays, exhibits, things like that. So way, way more into doing that than you would think. So she says, let me send you the layout. And she said, and I'm going to tell you right up front, the guy that helped do this is not a car guy. So she said, I welcome your input. So she sends me the layouts. We start talking, and we've revamped a lot of it this week, and have a lot of cool ideas put together. We've got some artifacts. They're artifacts now picked out for the display to tell the story of the automobile throughout the glory days, so to speak, of US Route 40, which would have been basically the teens up through the mid-50s. So we're working on some different ideas there. Anthony, we have a thing up here called Saskatchewan Pavement, well-oiled gravel. Sebastian just found a 14 crit project he's getting. That sounds kind of interesting. That sounds cool. I've got that crit radiator, but that's all I've got. Tri-Trash Chevy Dash would be cool. That was one of the ideas that we had. Yeah. You think I amaze you? What do you think about me? I didn't want to get myself into these deals. So, and Ruth's been great to work with. And when you go to a museum and you look at these displays, you don't think about a lot of this stuff. And, and she has welcomed my input. She's been very open to my input. And I hope that what we're doing here is, going to make a very nice display. It's not a very big display. I can't remember. It's only like 20 or 30 feet long. I mean, it's not a big section of the museum because there's a lot of other stuff to it. All the stuff we just talked about, clear back to the wagon days, the stagecoaches, all that stuff has to be brought in to the bits and pieces to the story. So the automobile part of it is a small part of it, but obviously we want, I want it to be right. We've all been in museums where you're looking at a display and you say, why is that in the middle of this display? Because it doesn't make any sense. That's what I'm trying to help not happen. So we've been working real hard on that this week. coming up with some great ideas. I hope that what I've been doing has been helpful. And let's see, Brian Dispatch is getting chemo now, lost some weight, but seeing it through. Perfect. Hang in there, Brian. We're all pulling for you. And actually, John, you got it right. That is actually the dash that they chose, was the 59 Impala dash. So that is the dash that at this point is tentatively sketched in, I guess, so to speak. Nothing, everything's subject to change, but that is definitely one of the ideas we had. But we're talking about all those different bits and pieces from the teens when, basically when the Model T was built at a price point to put in the hands of the general public. And obviously that's what made roads necessary. The first decade of the 1900s, the cars were for the well-off, the well-to-do. They were not mass transportation. Most, the majority of the public were still horse and wagon the first 10 years of the 1900s. But in the teens, as the Model T production ramped up, the Model T became affordable. It did make transportation real for the masses. That's what necessitated these road systems. So, let's see. Check out the Country Boy Gas Garage video. There's a guy selling everything at his auto salvage till December. I'll have to check that out. So, everybody's pulling for Brian. That's right. Hang in there, Brian. Now, Alec, it is a cool project because now, not only I'm putting my 2 cents worth in as far as what I didn't like about the display, where I thought the display should go, different artifacts. I called them parts before, but I guess now they're artifacts that tell the story, that fit in these puzzle pieces for display. And I never thought of it that way, but it is a big part of it. You got to have pieces that tell the story, actual real artifacts that tell the story, that fit in with the text. You've got to have the text that flows with the story of the road as it became mass transportation for cars and trucks and buses. And of course, then I keep getting myself in deeper because now not only am I looking for artifacts, which of course I have most of, there's only one thing I'm trying to look for. The rest of it's I just walked around and gathered it up. So that was easy enough. Helping with the design. And now Ruth asked me to help write the descriptions for a lot of this stuff. And something else you don't think about. You've got to watch what you put into a description, because you've got to remember, when you have a card this big, that is big enough for somebody to read while they're standing there from a couple feet away, your font size is way bigger than what just typing something out, which means you have to be very, very careful as you choose words to make that display make sense without having a 4-foot storyboard to try to cover one little segment. So it's very interesting. Like I said, I've been learning a ton. Check out Ruth at iondesignworks.com. She does a lot of cool stuff, does a lot of stuff with the National Park Service. But there again, for me, it's interesting because I'm learning something. I love to learn stuff. And I hope it's been beneficial for Ruth as well, but it's been a lot of fun. Hudson. Jason likes to collect artifacts as well. Artifacts is why you're all here. That's right, Kenny. John, I hear you. My wife's an editor, gets corrected every day. Yeah, I'm sure. So I've been working on a lot of this stuff. Got all my notes here. I'm trying to write all these little short descriptions up, and all for these different things that we're working on. And then you've got to make it all flow. You've got to have the stories flow. Jason likes the Hudson badge. Frank made it. Anthony says he's almost an artifact. So, but it's interesting. Like I said, I'm learning. It's been there again. We've all been to museums. We've all walked through displays, and we've all you just check it out. You study it. You learn it. Maybe learn something new. But how's that all come together? How do those pieces fit? Who puts that together? How do the colors jive? Are the colors comforting? Are the colors warming? Do the colors bring you in? Does the font make sense? Is the font clear? Does the font attract you to read the card? There again, some of the artifacts that we're getting, how are they displayed? How are they mounted? How can they be mounted to show why they are there, and then you have the description to explain why they're there, and that whole, you may be talking about an area that's 2 foot by 2 foot. By the time you have an artifact and a display card, that it all has to jive and it all has to tie together. So been pretty interesting. John, they needed Grapes of Wrath kind of 20s car. Yeah, but this is a small museum. The entire building is not that big, so there really isn't room for vehicles. So that's another point of it. We have to choose artifacts that are easily displayable in a small area, but are legitimate, actual, real artifacts from this time period that helps tell the story. So it's pretty interesting. So I'll keep you guys posted as it comes together. If anybody's ever out in that area, be sure to check it out. We'll see how it all works out when they get done. But like I said, once we get, like I said, nothing's finalized yet. We're dealing with sketches and things like that. So obviously nothing I can show you on any of that. So that's right, Scott. Now I'm an art dealer. Yeah. CDC Vintage. We do this every Sunday night, CDC. Ozark usually has to trailer his artifacts. Yeah. But like I said, I love learning. I encourage you to check out iondesignworks.com and see what Ruth does on there. And over the coming weeks, as the pieces of this fall together, I will keep you guys in the loop, and maybe we'll have a design to look at in the near future and get your guys' opinion on what you think, if we did it right or not. But and hopefully they'll have it on their website for the museum. They actually do have a website right now, the National Road Heritage Foundation, nationalrdfoundation.org. National spelled out, rdfoundation.org. It's right there on the top of their page. Perfect, Eric. Eric says, I can start calling my wins an artifact. When my wife tries to yell at me, I'll tell her I'm saving history. Perfect. Perfect angle, Eric. Desert water bag. Now, we don't have a desert water bag in the display yet. And there again, that's the thing. There's so many different ideas that we have to narrow it down to a couple things here and there to work with the story. Promo's coming up shortly, Anthony. But I wanted to share that with you guys. I want to share a little bit of history about the National Road, about this project that I'm on, and what we're doing with it. And I'll keep you guys posted over the coming weeks. We'll see how it goes and see how it works out. So, Loads and badge. Anyway, but it is time. Let's see. Do we get all the rest of the notes? Yeah, we got through all the rest of the notes. It is time for the promo model. It is time for some badges and emblems. It is time for some auctions. Nope, Anthony, you're good. We're just right about there. And I have a massive pile of auction stuff tonight, so we'll see how much of it we decide to do. I definitely got enough for this week and at least half of next week, or maybe 2 weeks. I don't know. It's piling up here. Chad George keeping auto history going. Yeah, well, we're trying. Brian Dispatch, the show all started for me when I happened to come across Chad pulling old Buick out of the bush. Yep. But anyway, let's keep moving. I'll keep an eye on comments. If you guys had, like I said, check out Ion Design Works. Check out the nationalrdfoundation.org. And we'll keep talking about that as the project comes together. I think it is a cool project, David W. So I'm excited to see how it turns out. Door mounted swamp cooler. Don't have anything there. We did talk about a lot of the innovations on automobiles in the 50s as part of the display. And actually air conditioning was part of that. So, but no, we don't have a swamp cooler, but those are great pieces. Tonight's promo model. After an Auburn badge. Tonight's promo model is the 1958 Cadillac Series 60 Special from Johan. And it is a friction. Love this car. Great promo. Kind of a mint green almost. If you look real close, you can see the 60 Special on the rear quarter panel. Promo is in pretty decent shape. It does have some warping. Rear bumper is still intact. Front bumper is still intact. We can see some of the warp up in here. This does have windows all the way around. It was a 4-door hardtop design. Randy's on with us. No interior in this one. It is kind of a basic one, but it does have great design. We see the big wide shields on this being a 60 special in, or well, I believe they were stainless. But it is a cool piece. Pete says, looks like my wife's been driving like based on the front end. Randy's here, just had internet issues. Jason started sorting out some of his license plates the other day. Has about 50 sets of 32 Missouris. So, yep, I do love this Cadillac. It is a great piece. As the Fleetwood cast across the trunk. Like I said, this is a Johan. It is friction, as we can see on the bottom. If you can see the stamping in here. You can see the friction drive back here, but due to the warpage, it is actually rubbing on the wheels. Jim loves the 60 specials. Brian never seen one in that color. Yeah, it is a very unique color, that's for sure. But I thought it was cool. Always dig the old caddies anyway. So I thought this was a great promo and was definitely glad to add this one to the collection. So, yep, it is kind of a different color. It is. I actually found this with the Ozark Antique Mall down by Springfield. Chris does jump on with us here sometimes. Haven't seen him on in a few weeks, but Chris from the Ozark Antique Mall does actually get on with us on here a few times occasionally. So that's right, Randy. I did get those sketches, and they are awesome. And I wanted to get with you. I was going to mention that earlier, and I didn't see you were on. So Zach says it's awesome. No, there is no interior in this. I don't know if you guys can see in the windows because this does have solid windows. And there was nothing inside. But anyway, Randy is on with us now, and Randy's got some really super cool ideas. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag yet, but Randy, who hangs out with us right here, all of us nobodies, was actually trained by the masters. And when you see some of this stuff, you'll understand what I mean when I say he was trained by the masters. So we got some super cool stuff coming up. Randy and I are going to talk about this week. We may have some stuff for you next week or here within a couple of weeks. But keep that in mind. Our own Randy that hangs out with us was trained by the masters, and he does some super cool stuff. That's right, Tim. Warpage is kind of normal for all of us nobodies. So, Pete, did caddies come from the factory, the wide whites? Not sure, but I'm guessing it was probably an option. Usually wide whites were an option back then. Alec digs it too. Yeah, it's a great piece. Like I said, you guys will see why I bought it. It has a burn mark on both corners of the back window. I have no idea how in the world it got a burn mark right on the corner of the windows. Did not get on the car, just strictly on the corners of the back windows. So I don't get that. Jason's already excited. Yeah, we got some cool stuff coming that Randy's going to help us out with. So, but there it is for tonight. The 1958 Cadillac Fleetwood 60 Special 4-door hardtop in kind of a weird greenish color type thing. Don't know. So, oh yeah, gee, thanks, Addie. Bill, that's a pretty sharp piece. For once, a halfway straight one. And Bill obviously is our promo expert, so we always look for the interesting tidbits and the details about promos from our good friend Bill because he's always got us covered there. Warp burn, who cares? That's right, John. That's true. It is beautiful. Caitlin's on with us on Facebook. Ozark's kind of a few real cars are kind of warped like that. So yeah, it is my birthday. Addie made sure everybody knows now that whereas it was not on earlier that it is my birthday. So I appreciate all the birthday wishes for this round that's coming in now. So, but there's the promo, the 1958 Cadillac Fleetwood 60 Special. Jim says may had to heat them for final assembly. Yeah, I think that's just warp. So, there. How about you guys have a birthday celebration? This fly is not going to have much of a celebration here shortly. Ready for him. He comes back. Jeff Taylor made it. Okay, let me get. Looks like. All right, looks like all the rest of these comments are birthday. So I appreciate all the birthday wishes. I really do. Yep, still. Well, there's no reason to skip it. So thanks everybody. I got them coming in both sides now. So yep, Addie keeps telling everybody so they don't forget, or so I can't hide it. Oh, he's gone. Splat. One down. Let's see, Bill. The next time you're around Dad, have him pull his ears because how many years he is. Yeah, that's right. Can't hide the birthday details. That's right, for sure. So, yeah, thanks, Ad. She's got a little devil horn thing on there. How about one of those? Oh, we got more important stuff to talk about than my birthday. So, like badges. Yes, we've got badges tonight. Yep, I would rather them be flat and then a trash can and wadded up in toilet paper than flying around bothering me, though. So, but on to badges for tonight. This week, for our little enamel badge, this is super cool. Beautiful piece. The Studebaker badge from late 1927 to June of 1928. This is a smaller version of the Studebaker badge. They made these a little bit larger as well. So we're going to go ahead and give you the dimensions on this one. And it is about 2 inches out to these little tips on the Studebaker signs and about 1 5/8 inches in diameter. This is a very pretty badge. It has the wheel in it, the wagon wheel in it like Studebaker did, the Studebaker script across here, the white circle around it. This badge is in nice shape. Pete just got one of these. This was a pressed-on badge like most of these were back in the day where they pressed them onto the grill shell. This has great coloring, great enameling, and even great detail in the wheel that I hope you guys can make out on your screens. So like I said, they made larger versions of these. This is a smaller one, which is a limited run from what I found, of course, on my favorite website, AmericanAutoEmblems.com. So it is a cool little piece. It is a beautiful piece, and I always love checking this stuff out. Now, obviously, we want to move up a little bit. Like I said, we do a pre-war, then we do a post-war. This, obviously, 27 and 28 is our pre-war badge. Now, last week, who remembers the pre-war badge from last week? Anybody paying attention last week? When we talked about the Packard badge. Who remembers the Packard badge from last week? X-Ray's on with us. Stan, high lovers of cool stuff. That's a great way to put it. So we had this. Remember we did the Packard badge last week, and we're talking about Studebaker badge this week. Remember when I told you last week to keep this in mind because we're going somewhere with this. So now we've got Packard and Studebaker. Sebastian remembers Jay saw his first Durant today. Alex says close up. Let's get it over here to that camera a little bit better. Hopefully you can make it out a little better. Art Deco on the Packard, that's for sure, Randy. So where are we going with this? What are we doing for a post-war badge? Well, if you guys remember, I bought a whole bunch of super cool Studebaker stuff out of a collection. And there are some awesome badges in there. We looked at the President badge a couple weeks ago. We got a lot more cool stuff coming up. Alec just digs them both. Cool set. So, but there were some boxes in these, I bought these like 3 or 4 boxes, or 4 or 5 boxes of parts. I see these red boxes in there. And they were old boxes, I could tell. Obviously, I've sold a lot of Newell stock parts over the years. So I'm pretty familiar with a lot of the OE boxes from the 40s, 50s, 60s. Even back when Buick had their own box and Chevrolet had their own box. I remember all of those. So that's, I'm pretty familiar with that. So I start digging through these other boxes and stuff I bought. I see these red boxes that I was kind of unfamiliar to me. And a couple of you guys already got it figured out. Check this out. Tested and Studebaker Packard approved. Obviously only done for a few years, before Packard was completely phased out. So 57, 58 window of Studebaker Packard. There's some Newell stock Studebaker Packard stuff in here. Precision built products, superior performance, parts and accessories division, Studebaker Packard Corporation. So for me to not recognize a box right out of the gate, I thought that was pretty cool. Studebaker Packard. Randy says, hit the like button. Appreciate that. So now you want to know what's in it. Well, We're going to show you this one now, and this is pretty good. Yep, they joined for a few years. Studebaker and Packard and in fact, Packards essentially became rebadged Studebakers in 57 and 58. That's right, Randy. The box is great. Or stance of the box is cool. Yep. Inside, we have a regular package that says genuine Studebaker accessories. So let's see what all we got in here. It is actually two pieces because there was the box and then there was the separate bag inside because the pieces go together. Packard Baker, that's right. This is a trunk lock ornament for a 1956 Studebaker. New old stock, just out of the box. This plastic insert is a separate piece. That is what was in the little package. And it just sat right inside of there. Mounted on the trunk, obviously right around the trunk lock. I think this is a keeper, Pete. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, this thing's just kind of a win all the way around. I mean, you know, the packaging, the piece, obviously the chrome is beautiful. I mean, it's kind of scuffed because I've been holding on to it. But, you know, obviously great chrome. I mean, it's brand new. Never been on a car. Back of the axe brand new. Colors are brand new. They were shunned by the loyal Packard fans because they were essentially just a rebadged Studebaker. So, but there it is, the trunk lock cover for a 56 Studebaker in the original Studebaker Packard badge. So this was a replacement piece, made probably just as they were getting ready to give this at the end of 56. They were ramping up with the Packard stuff, and so their packaging started to reflect that of the Studebaker Packard Corporation. And believe it or not, guys, I've got one piece in this box I think is even cooler than this, and this is pretty darn cool. But we got some more stuff coming up out of that Studebaker stuff. So you're sure there wasn't a second match pair? No, that's all I could find. I do not have any 53 Studebakers at all, Eric. So, yep, that's right, Jim. It's 65 years old. It's brand new. It's beautiful. It does have great color. I mean, it's just a winner all the way around as far as I'm concerned. But it is a beautiful piece for sure. So let's get this thing put back in its little box here so it doesn't get scuffed up or damaged. Jim, the box ought to be worth $100. I don't think the box is quite worth that, but thought it was super cool. That's why we started with the Packard last week, went to the Studebaker this week, and then wrapped up with the Studebaker Packard Corporation new old stock stuff. So more cool stuff coming up. Lots more super cool Studebaker stuff in these boxes we'll be sharing with you over the next several weeks on badges and emblems. I'll try to mix a few things up so we're not just doing Studebaker for the next 2 months on post-war stuff. But, man, there's some great stuff coming up. So, hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you guys liked the little spin on tying these two together to add up to the Studebaker Packard piece, and then hope you like the grand finale of the Studebaker Packard, Studebaker trunk badge and insert. So, all right, glad. A lot of you guys dig it. Lots of good comments, which always makes me feel good. It means we did something good. So, Anthony says, well done, birthday boy. Thanks. But that's what's fun about it. That's why I try to work things in like this. I try to tie things together because we're all learning. That's how we all learn. I'm learning how to work on museum displays. I don't know nothing about it. Ruth's teaching me as we're going through this stuff. So, but that being said, auction time. Auction time, auction time. Who's ready for auction time? Before we get into auction time, as always, watch out for the trolls. I will ignore their bids. You guys run them off. I will ignore them. If you are on the Nobody's Show Facebook page, I cannot see your comments. So if you want to participate in the auctions, you will need to be on the Nobody Else's Auto Facebook page or the Nobody's Show YouTube channel. If when we are in the middle of an auction, if you are typing comments, obviously check your autocorrect, but I'm only watching for numbers when we're on the timer. So when we're on the timer, if you make a comment, I will try to catch it after the fact because I am watching for numbers. As always, as we do the auctions, I'll hold something up. We'll look at it. We'll talk about it. We'll look at the condition. We'll talk about we'll do a description. We'll give you the dimensions on it. After we get done, as we're talking about it, if you guys want to throw a bid out there and get us started, please do. I don't care if you don't, I don't expect you to throw your max bid out there, but let me know that there is interest to get us started. If even if it's just something small, so I know that you guys are interested. Sometimes I hold something up. There's no bids. I don't know if I'm supposed to throw it back in the box or if you guys are just waiting. So if you can help me out by throwing something out there so I at least know there's interest in it, that'll give us something to work off of. International bidders, I have no problem with you playing. However, you will have to find a way to get me paid because there is fees associated with any non-U.S. payments that you would have to take care of, as well as shipping. Most of these smaller items, shipping is included. There are a few bigger items that we will talk about shipping on that particular item. But non-U.S., you will be responsible for shipping as well. If you want to buy for a couple of weeks and build it up so we do it at once, I've got no problem with that either. Just keep me posted and let me know what's going on. Kenny's ready, maybe, but his wallet isn't. Jim lived 30 miles from the Packard Proving Grounds. They still have activities there. Couple things before we get into the auction, especially since X-Ray threw something up there. I had one X-Ray that I don't know if you missed it or I missed it from about a month ago on some handy oilers. So if I screwed that up, let me know. And then I had one from a Tyler Moran and Damien's Garage Builds. I still had a couple hanging from those guys from 3 or 4 weeks ago as well. So let me know on that X-Ray if I screwed up and missed something. And as always, guys, if I do miss something, you don't get something, please let me know. I try to be very conscientious about this, but I'm not perfect and I could very easily miss something. So if I do, call me, let me know, and I will make it right. Take a break before dessert. Did we get into the DeSoto yet? We don't have a DeSoto tonight, number one. Sebastian is sad to see the Packard factory is coming down or might be down. That's true. Tony from Oklahoma City's on with us. Glad you're here, Tony. Glad to meet you that day. Zach, whatever the first auction item is. Sebastian, give me a shout tomorrow. We got to get some of that stuff squared away too. I don't know if they save a small portion of the factory Packard or not. So thanks, X-Ray. I appreciate that. Old School's on with us. Bill Disc got his package, but he's not home to open it. So. How about a little Auburn badge? And let's get into some auction items. What do we want to do? I don't have any toys tonight, but we got hubcaps, license plates, badges, cans, big cans, little cans, hood ornament. We got all kinds of neat stuff. So let's get something picked out. Let's get going. As always, please remember your delay. There is a delay. I will hold something up. We'll look at it. We'll look at the dimensions. We'll look at the condition. I will put it on a 2-minute timer. Nope, no valve covers tonight, Zach. When I put it on the 2-minute timer, I just use my smartphone right here. I will be watching this. I will tell you when a minute has gone by. I will tell you when a minute 30 seconds has gone by. Depending on your delay, some delays can be up to 30 seconds. So when I tell you a minute 30 has gone by, be thinking about your maximum bid and be ready to throw it out there. Some guys can get bids through in a few seconds. Some guys it takes 20 or 30. It all depends on your device, whether you're on a phone, smart TV, PC, tablet, your connection service, all that varies. So let's see. Last week said we'd have Studebaker Packard mystery brand along those lines. So if it depends on if we're talking about auction miners or not, I'm not sure, number one. Um, yeah, well, I don't have a lot of extra toys. That's the problem. I don't have a lot of duplicate toys. So let's just start with these. We'll typically kind of start off with something small to kind of get things rolling. Let's start off with these. These are kind of different. We've never done any of these before, so it's a little bit different. On a couple of little magazines. The Ford Times. Yes, we're going to do a little auction bundle of three issues of the Ford Times. July 1954, October 1954, May 1955 of the Ford Times. Now, these have some car stuff in them, but not tons of car stuff in them. These have, vacation stuff, sightseeing type stuff, festival stuff. There's a little bit of vehicle stuff in them, but these are not just strictly car magazines. This one's from Reynolds Motors in Norman, Oklahoma, is where all three of these came from originally. These are smaller magazines. 6 3/4 by 4 7/8. They're in pretty good shape. There's a little bit of wear on them. They do have nice colors. They do have some color inside them. These all say have monthly dates on them, so I'm assuming that these were monthly. July, October, and May. So these all have monthly dates on them, so I assume these were monthly. Jeff Taylor's going to start us off at 10. Not Reno, you didn't miss any auctions. We're just getting into them. You hit it perfect. How many pages are in them? This one is 64 pages. This one is, so they must be 64 pages. That one's 64 as well. They're all say 64 pages. All three of them. Was that a Cobra before it was a Cobra? Those were just some different kit car type stuff, I think. Can you buy a Ford, get a year free mags? That's probably exactly what it was. These are 54, 55, Alec. If you can see the dates on them, I'll try to get them to where you can maybe see all three dates at the same time. July 54, October 54, May 55. So we've got Jeff at 10. We're going to go ahead and get this thing on the timer, get it live, and get rolling on the Ford Times magazines. All three, one bid. We are live. Timer's going right now on the little Ford Times. I'll have to look it up, Mark. Just give me a shout. No problem, Mark. Give me a call tomorrow. We'll get through it all. X-Ray Dean at 12. Jeff at 15. Slide one of those in there. As we come up on the 1 minute mark. That's right, number one, different items. There is a lot of different, so many avenues for collecting with this channel. 1 minute has now passed. X-Ray at 16. Insides, like I said, they're kind of tough to see. I'll try to show you. It's a little bit of car stuff. There's travel stuff. Just a little bit of everything in them. Tree. As we're coming up on the minute 30 mark, X-Ray Dean at 16. And 1 minute, 30 seconds has now passed. We're coming out of the wire. If you're going to jump in on these things, now's the time. X-Ray Dean at 16 is our high bidder. 20 seconds left to go. X-Ray at 16. $10. X-Ray Dean at 16 is our high bidder. And looks like that's going to be about it. We're coming out of the wire. And that does it. X-Ray Dean at 16. Kind of neat little pieces. There again, I always like to start off with something that doesn't. Jeff Taylor came back at 17 just a few seconds too late. But it's there again, I like to mix this stuff up. I know not everybody is going to come out there and start dropping $100-$300 at a shot on some of these collectibles. So that's why I always like to mix it up. We've got some stuff that's going to be over 100 tonight. We've got some stuff that's going to be 16. That's what's fun about it. I want everybody to be able to play. I don't want anybody to feel like they're left out. So because it's a hobby that we enjoy, and doing it together and being able to add stuff to our collections is what makes it fun. Okay. Let's do kind of another little interesting, unique piece. Just kind of a smaller piece. How about a horn button from a Dodge? This is probably late 40s. Super cool piece. In pretty good condition for its age. But definitely an awesome display badge. Obviously got the logo and the crest right here. This was painted kind of an off-white behind it. We see part of it over here still. We see the chrome behind it where it's flaked off. We definitely see the Dodge crest badge here. This is some sort of a Bakelite or plastic ring around it. Does still have the hardware on the back where there would have been something for the horn contact in it. You see this pushes in and out. But it is kind of a cool piece. Like I said, a little bit different. It is flat mount, so I mean you could do some cool stuff with it. I'm not sure, and I'm not sure on the exact year, but I think it's like a 4950, 5152 era piece is what I'm thinking that this is. So Shopcat made it. Daniel BC made it. Mike's on with us. John, there you go, John, at wall thermostat. Perfect. So, dimensions. How big is this thing? It is about 4 inches in diameter. So, yeah, and that's right. And I actually thought about that, number one, as far as doing some grab bags, and I didn't get that far tonight. But yeah, I'm still thinking about that. I just didn't get that far tonight. You know how hard it is to find brown paper sacks to do something like that? You put in those plastic grocery bags, you see right through them. So anyway, Dodge horn button. Anybody interested in the Dodge horn button? If not, we'll throw it back in the box and do something different. We'll give you a Hudson badge, though. Yeah, so we're into the next rounds of happy birthdays. I appreciate that, everybody. Charles is going to start us off at 10 on the Dodge horn button. And so, yeah, it is my birthday, so we'll go again on that for a little bit. Randy at 12, Rico at 15. Let's go ahead and get this thing on the timer. Alec was at 5, so those all kind of came in. They're all right in that same window. But Rico at 15 is the high bidder out of all those that came in. It's like they must have all been kind of hung up in there. I didn't get nothing at once, then boom, they all hit like as soon as I said that. So they must have been hung up or something in there. But I will get my notes made. And we are live on this one. Get me another fly. I'm tired of those things bothering me while we're in here on the computer. As we're coming up, working towards that 1 minute mark on the Dodge horn button. And 1 minute has now passed. Rico at 15 is the high bidder. Taking along on this one. What do we want to do next? Get a can mixed in there, kind of a starter can next. And 1:20 has passed. We're working our way towards 1:30, and then be on the back side of this thing. Ozark Fox, Brahms has paper sack. If you want a lot of ice cream, I can do a lot of ice cream. A minute 30 has now passed. We are on the backside. We're running down to the wire on this. If you're going to jump in, Rico at 15 is my high bidder on the Dodge horn button. 20 seconds left. It's like all the bids got plugged up. They all came out at once, and that was the end of it. 10 seconds. We're down to the end. Charles is back in at 21. And that does it. Charles come in at 21 as right there at the end with about 6 seconds left, and that did it. So I think Charles got smoked on everything last week. I think there was like 4 or 5 things Charles got beat on right at the end. So at least he got one early tonight. So I think Charles had a pretty rough week last week. So glad he got something. All right. Goods and badge. Let's do another can. There again, this is kind of a starter can. It is in nice shape. It is all metal. It is an Atlas polishing cloth can. We've done some cans similar to this one. I don't think we've done anything quite this good condition-wise. Atlas polishing cloth, silicone added, wax treated, cleans, dusts, polishes. Feels like there's something in here, so let's see if we can get it open. Yep, cloth is still in it. Back still pretty good. It's got a dent on the back over here, but I mean, all the directions are very legible. The Atlas Supply Company, made in the USA. Original cap for automotive and furniture. Mike's starting us off at 15 on the Atlas polishing cloth can. Zach's got one as well, but this one is way nicer. This is a pretty decent can. Like I said, it isn't perfect, but it is pretty decent. So, Wall's got one that says Hudson on it. Yeah, they made these for a lot of different companies. A lot of different manufacturers made them. But this one looks pretty good. I have Jeff Taylor at 15. Let's go ahead and get this thing live. Started on the timer. I'm going to get my notes caught up here. Old school perfect is boring. Yep, that's true. But Jeff Taylor at 16, or at X-Ray at 19. That snuck in there in the middle. X-Ray at 19 on the Atlas polishing cloth can. Dennis is at 20. What do we want to do next? What do we do next? Let's put some of these in. X-Ray is at 21. Tweedly D at 22. And 1 minute has now passed as I can't have a whiff of caramba. Carnuba. No, this says silicone added, which today we don't want to use silicone. So, Tim, perfect is the boring like normal is the sitting on a clothes dryer. Yeah, that's true. So, ticking away on the Atlas polishing cloth can. Dennis at 25. And a minute 30 has now passed. So it means by the time you see this, we're probably just about done. Dennis at 25 is my high bidder. And 20 seconds left to go. So we're just about done on this. Dennis at 25. Ten seconds. And that does it. Dennis at 25. Who's ready for some emblems and badges? Probably everybody, I'm guessing. Jeff, we used to miss silicone in the cars in the showroom every day at his first job at a Buick Pontiac dealer. All right. Lots of guys are ready for him. How about a couple of Mercury pieces? We don't do a lot of Mercury pieces. Thought we'd mix it up a little bit. We'll start off with a basic Mercury badge. This is a number one. Those cloths have different textures. I think it was all the same. Alec is ready to go too. The first one, this is a basic Mercury badge. Just Mercury script, probably mid-60s. It is a metal badge. And Jason's crazy about a Mercury. It is 6.5 by 1 3/8 inches. So it's 6.5 1 3/8 inches at the M. Chrome plated, nice condition, pretty flat mount, stud mount. So pretty decent looking piece. Has one broken stud, I guess. It does have one broken stud right here in the middle. Now, to go along with this one isn't quite as nice. It's got a few pitting, but it's super cool because it's got the Mercury head on it, the Mercury man on it. This is a grill badge off of like a mid-60s Comet is where this came from. Obviously, we have some fading in here. We see the stars and everything, but their colors are faded. We see the Mercury man's head. It is kind of an angled badge. It does have some pitting on the sides of it. Chrome still has a decent shine to it, though. Stud mount. Studs are still on the back with the nuts. So that's what we've got for the Mercury badge bundle. I love this because it's got the Mercury man on it. And the Mercury man is actually, it's a separate piece. This was a pot metal Mercury man. It is riveted on. If you look back here, we see the rivet that holds the Mercury man head on. So Jess is in at 15 on the Mercury badge pack. Let's get this thing on the timer. Tweety at 20. We are live. Eric at 30 on the pair. That escalated fairly quickly. So let me get my notes caught up here. All right, we are live. I've got Eric at 30 on the Mercury badges. Both pieces, one bid. That's right, Tim. Escalation is good. I'm all for it. Shop Cat took some pics of a 65 Colony Park. That would be pretty cool. That will definitely be worth checking out on Shop Cat's page here soon. And coming up on the 1 minute mark. 1 minute has now passed. So we're rolling on the back side of this thing. Eric at 30. And 1 minute 20 has now passed. We're coming up on the minute 30 mark. If you're going to jump in on these things, now is the time to be thinking about it. Eric at 30 is my high bidder. And 1 minute 30 seconds has now passed. So if you're going to jump in on these things, now is the time to do it. Eric at 30. 20 seconds left. $10. Eric at 30. The Comet badge is mid-60s. And that's it. That was all boom, 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 boom right out of the gate, and that was it. Nothing ever happened after that. Eric at 30. We haven't done a license plate yet. How about we do a license plate? We'll start off with kind of a rougher one. I've got some better ones. We'll start off with kind of a rougher one because it's kind of cool to me. This is a, like I said, kind of a rough. Most of the coloring is gone. 1951 Kansas plate. This is supposed to be blue and white. We can see it's just all light service rust. What's cool about it is in 52 and 53, they did not issue plates. They issued a little tag for the corner, and that's what this has, and that's what's so cool about it. This has the little 53 upgrade in the corner. Yes, Jess, I had this picked out before I opened my package today, so just so you know. On the back, it's not rusted out. It's kind of bent up a little bit. It's not rusted out. But Eric's going to kick us off at 20. It's cool because it's got this little, and if you look on the back side, you can see where the 51 was stamped, and then you can see where they put this little plate over it. No easy riders tonight, Sam, but Eric's got to start kicking us off at 20. This is a standard size, like about 6 by 12, whatever, 11.5 by, 5 7/8 type license plate. It is a great wall hanger, Leo, so let's go ahead and kick it off on the timer. So we are rolling on this one on the 1951 Kansas plate, kind of rough, but still with the original little 53 tag on the corner. I've got Eric at 20 on this one. That's right, Mike. It is Stafford County. That is correct. So Tony says South Dakota did the same thing. Number one with the stars and the comet badge, red, white, and blue. It's just sun faded. Yep. Was the car's responsibility to drill the needed holes and bolt the tag on it? Yeah, I think so. Jason at 25 on the kind of crusty 51 plate with the super cool little 50 on. They just bolted it right to it, square nuts and everything. And 1 minute has now passed. We're past the 1 minute mark on this one. I've got Jason at 25. And 1:20 has now passed. I've got Jason at 25. And 1:30's gone. We got the last 30 seconds left for anybody to jump in on this one. Jason at 25. 20 seconds left. Eric at 26. Ten seconds. Sebastian at 29. Jason at 27. And that does a Sebastian at 29. And Kenny came in at 32, so after the fact. What have we not done tonight? We haven't done any little hubcaps tonight. So how about we do a double pack of hubcaps? How about we do an Auburn badge too? We're going to do a double shot, a double pack of caps for our Ford lovers out there. We've got a couple other caps to do yet tonight too, but these are going to be a double shot. Tim said he's got a pretty heavy delay tonight, so please keep that in mind. At least Tim said he's definitely got a serious delay. But we're going to give you 2 Ford caps in one shot. These are the smaller caps, great display pieces. This is a 49, 50, 51 era Ford cap. This did have a red background. Some of these had a white background. The back just has some surface rust on it. Pretty decent shine, some dings and dents, but there again, the thing's 70 years old. So I'm not near that old and I don't feel that good. So we'll start off with that Ford cap. Going along with it is going to be this Ford cap. This is a couple years newer. I think this is 52, 53 era. This has some road rash on it. This is a stainless cap. Ford in block letters across, just right across the middle of this one. Let's get you some dimensions on these things. Ozark Fox, red was 55, white was 56. Tweedledee is at 30. 10.5 on this one. Diameter-wise, I've got Tweedly D and Alec both at 30. I got Rusty at 40 now. And 10.5 on this one. Let's see. Rusty at 40 is what I've got. I got lots of bids coming in. Rusty at 40 is my high bidder. Let's kick this thing off on the timer. So we are live. Rusty at 40 on the pair. Double shot of Ford caps. Alec at 45, then Tweedly D at 45. I got Alec first at 45 is my high bidder. Alec at 45 on Facebook. As we tick along, working towards that 1 minute mark. Give you a Hudson badge while we're talking about it. Yeah, we can give you a double shot X-ray, whatnot, why not? Double shot of caps and a double shot of Hudson and Auburn badge. Rusty at 55. As we come up on the 1 minute mark, I've got Rusty at 55 on the pair, both for one money, shipped to you in the 48 states. Minute 20 has now passed. Coming up on that minute 30 mark here very soon. If you're going to jump in on these, now's the time to be thinking about it. I've got Rusty at 55 as we hit the minute 30 mark, which if we've got some bad delays out there means by the time you see this, we will just about be done. So be sure to get those max bids if you're going to go in on this one. Rusty at 55 with 20 seconds left to go. $10. And we're just about done. Alec at 57. And that does it. Alec sniped that at about $157 with a $57 bid. Got kind of a different can to do this time. I don't think we've sold one of these before. It is an all-metal can. It is pretty cool. It is new, so it is full, so I will have to drain it. But it's something, like I said, I don't think we've ever sold one of these, at least definitely not this brand. On Penray Diesel Fuel Conditioner. This is an old all-steel metal can, great colors. The red, the blue, the gold, the white, it looks great. I don't really know what the collectability of these things is, but you don't see them very often, so it's a little bit different. It has instructions on the top. It has info on the bottom. Just pour into tank and drive. It has stuff on the back, Elk Grove, Illinois, on instructions. It is kind of a gold checkerboard type pattern. I don't know what it is on the sides there with the red Penray ball and blue background and white letters. Jeff Taylor's kicking us off at 10 on this one. I think this is a great can. It is not something that's very common. It is definitely different. And it does check the boxes. It does not have an animal on it, but it does not have, it does not have an animal or a cool graphic, but it has great colors going for it. So I think it's a great piece. We'll see what you guys think. We are live on the timer. Jeff started us off at 10. Dennis is at 14. Jeff's back at 15. I personally like it just because of the coloring on it, but we'll see what you guys think of it. I dig it. And we're ticking along. Yeah, Leo, it would make a good bank. Just have to cut the bottom out to get your money bag out. Jeff Taylor at 15. Dennis at 18. As we're working our way towards the 1 minute mark. And just about there. And 1 minute has now passed. I've got Jeff Taylor at 19. David W. went to an auction preview and they had a 55-gallon Kindle. They're cool. They're just almost too big. Yeah, you put a rubber plug in it, Leo. That's true. Jeff Taylor at 19. And we're coming up on the minute 30 point. Jeff Taylor at 19. 1 minute, 30 seconds has passed. If you're going to jump in on this one, now is the time. You see where it's got the seam on it over here because this is an all steel can. 20 seconds left. Jeff Taylor at 19. Thanks, Pete. Appreciate you guys having my back on that. Dennis at 21. 10 seconds to go. Tweedly D at 25. And that does it. Tweedly D at 25. And Jeff was back in at 26, but we were too late on that one. How about some more emblems? Got any Oldsmobile fans out there? Anybody like Oldsmobiles? Got kind of some cool Oldsmobile pieces. We will start off with a Cutlass Supreme. This is a plastic chrome-plated Cutlass Supreme. This is a bundle. There are 3 pieces. Thanks, Bill. We'll see you Tuesday. Nope, no Jetfire stuff, Zach. Yeah, this is probably 80s, David. 7 3/4 on the plastic Cutlass. This little Oldsmobile, which I also believe is 80s, but it is metal. It is chrome-plated metal. It was double-sided tape. It does not have studs, but it is a chrome-plated metal badge. But like I said, probably 80s era. It is about 5.5 long. The last badge in the Oldsmobile badge bundle, and obviously I saved the best for last. Yes, it is a Rocket. This is a mid-70s Cutlass badge, I think. It is kind of an angled cut badge. It is stud mount. It is metal. It is chrome-plated. It has great coloring. Even the red still looks pretty cool, pretty good in here. It has a little bit of black paint on this outline. So, pretty cool piece. Nice chrome. This thing is really a very, very nice condition. If it has, the studs have been used. You can see the marks on the studs. You can almost say it was new if it wasn't for that. I've got Alec at 15 on Facebook on the Olds badge bundle. So, I've got Alec at 15, all 3 of them, 1 money. Let's go ahead and get this thing rolling on the timer. And ticking along, Alec at 15 starting us off on Facebook on the Oldsmobile badge bundle. As we're ticking along, we're coming up on the 1 minute mark. 1 minute has now passed. Alec at 15. This is draining a can right now. Well, let's help out with that. And I'm coming up on that minute 30 mark. I'll get a walk out here. These were $15. 1 minute 30 has now passed. If you're going to get in, now's the time. I think I do have some of the Oldsmobile cassette tapes. 20 seconds left to go. 10. Alec at 15. Reno at 16. David W. at 21. And that does it. David W. at 21. Those all hit at the same time. David W. just happened to be the high one out of 3 of them that hit at the same time. Tape these back together so I keep them all in one group so I know what we're dealing with. What do we want to do next? Let's see here. We got all kinds of cool stuff. Just where do we want to start? I actually want to throw something at you guys real quick. That's right, Alec. I thought you were going to walk out of there with those like that for nothing, and boom, it just that last 10 seconds got interesting. So yeah, I thought you were going to walk out of there with like a cakewalk too. We've done one of these before. Number one just says yes. Okay. And I want to gauge interest on it because I've got some more of them we can do. But obviously, there's because of shipping, I want to make sure there's interest in them in doing 5-gallon cans. We've done one in the past. As far as either I would have to charge shipping on them, or basically you got to bring about $50 or $60 because it's going to be, depending on where they're going, $20, $25 to ship them. So I've got one laying out here. I'm going to look at it. You guys tell me if you think it's worth that. If not, we don't have to do them. But I've got some I can start mixing in here. But shipping has gotten so outrageous anymore. It's gotten crazy. I want to make sure we're all on the same page on those. So let's take a look at this one I've got out tonight. See what you guys think of it. See if you guys think it's worth. Like I said, they're actually worth more than that. I mean, 5-gallon cans. I mean, a nice 5-gallon cans, $50 is pretty much any of them are worth that. Anything with graphics can bring more than that because they're gaining popularity because you can hang them up high out of the way and you can still see them. So the 5-gallon I've got sitting here tonight is a Skelly Quality Oils. Definitely has some scratches in it, but great colors. Skelly Oil Company, as we've looked at in some of these other Skelly cans, has the oil derricks all the way around the bottom of it. Has the white stripes on it, the Skelly logo. Has the spout on top. Does have the handle. That's right, Kenny. You always do try to help out with shipping, and some of you guys do that. I always appreciate that too. This was something. Skelix or something. Can't really make it out what it was actually marked. So like I said, it's not perfect, but it still has great color. It still looks good. It does have Skelly Oil Company on the back at the bottom. So you guys tell me, is this stuff worth messing with? What do you think? What kind of bids are we looking at on it? This is totally up to you guys. I just can't, bury myself in shipping on this stuff and go backwards on it because then it's kind of tough to replenish the stock for the next week if we're spending all the money on shipping on big stuff. So anyway, what do you guys think? You tell me. And we're going to sell this one, or are we going to throw it off to the side and maybe do it sometime down the road? So, but there it is, the Skelly Quality Oils 5-gallon can. I hear myself echoing in the can. So, and there again, and that's why I'm asking actually. He likes it, but it's not practical. And that's the whole point. That's why we're talking about it, because some people it's not practical. Some people like them because they've got big space to hang up high. There again, Pete says he tries to stay smaller because of space. So I don't see any bids coming in on it, so I guess we'll put her off the side and maybe do it later. That's Jason's kind of in the same boat, so that's fine, guys. Maybe we'll try some here in a few months. We'll see what happens. That's why I ask about that stuff. So need a copper to build a steel. Rico says he's in at 50. So if Rico's in at 50, we'll go ahead and run it. But it's up to you. You guys tell me what you guys want to do. If Rico's in at 50, we'll go with it. Wrap it in butcher paper and ship it rather than boxing it. Yeah, that. Yeah, okay. I guess you guys. Tweedledee D says 55. If you want to sell it, that's fine. So let's go. I guess we'll go ahead and roll with it. Maybe those just came in late, but Tweedledee's at 55, Rico's at 50. So I guess we'll go ahead and try it, and we'll see what happens. Like I said, if that's all they're worth, that's not gonna, it's gonna cover shipping and the hassle, but it's not gonna help replenish the funds to buy more. But we'll try it. We'll sell this one. We'll see if it does any better than that. I've got Tweedledee at 55. We're gonna go ahead and sell it and see what kind of interest it brings in. So. Rico's back at 60. And that's right, Rico. That's exactly right. You hang him from the ceiling, you can still see him. Rico at 60. Yeah, and some of the stuff we do factor a bid plus shipping. This I kind of have an idea about what it's going to be. So we'll just roll with it. One shot deal. Zach at 62. As we're coming up on the 1 minute mark. And 1 minute has now passed on this one. Rico's back in at 65. And 1:20 has now passed. That's right, number one. You can hide your cough syrup in it. 1:30 has now passed. Perfect look. If it was too nice, it would be fake. And that's right. There's some truth to that, David W. If you get down to if some of the stuff is too perfect, I get scared of it. We're just about down to the wire on this one. We're just about done. I kind of started reading comments and missed it, but we're just about at 2 minutes, and that does it. Rico at 65. As soon as I hit the button, and Sebastian came in at 68 right after that, but we got Rico at 65. So we'll mark that one to Rico at 65. So that's a cool piece. All right. Rusty, cut the bottom out, put a light fixture in it, hang it from the ceiling. That's true. Enrico's being supervised tonight. So, okay, what else we want to do? How about a hubcap? Time to do another hubcap. This one looks good. It's got a great look to it. The back is rough. You can't use it on a car, but it's got a super great look to it. I'll just show you the back to start with. The back's rusty, beat up, crunched up. So the back is junk. You can't use it on a car. But we don't care because we're going to hang it on the wall. This thing's so cool because it does say, just like number one was hoping for, DeSoto. So this is kind of a cool one. Dings, dents, but nice bright chrome, which is what we want. You can repaint the DeSoto. I think these were red, or leave it the way it is. I think these pop a little bit more when you do touch the paint back up in them, but I left it this way depending on what the buyer wants. Jason's already at 20 on this one, kicking us off right out of the gate. I believe this ring was also red, and the DeSoto was red. Let's go ahead and give you a dimension. I've got Jason at 20. This is 11 inches across. Year, I'm going to say it's late 40s is what I'm guessing. 49, 50, maybe 51, but somewhere right in that area. Maybe 47, 48, but somewhere right in that area. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your support on that. Let's see. Lots of bids here. Let me sort them all out. Tweedledee at 30 is my high bidder at this point. Tweedledee at 30 is my high bidder. Let's get this thing on the timer and going. Let's see. Alex is, I guess, still got Tweedledee at 30 is my high bidder. I've got bids coming in both formats. Rusty at 35. And we're ticking along on the DeSoto cap. Like I said, the back's rough. It's junk, but it's got a great, great look to it. And that's what we want to hang it on the wall. So Rusty at 35 is my high bidder. As we're coming up on the 1 minute mark. 1 minute has now passed on this one, and we're on the back side of the DeSoto cap. I've got Rusty at 35. And a minute 20 has now passed. Rusty at 35. And we've passed that minute 30 mark. So depending on your delay, if you're going to get in on this one, time to be thinking about it. Rusty at 35 is my high bidder. As we're ticking down to the wire with 20 seconds left to go, Rusty at 35 on the DeSoto cap. Tweedledee at 40 with 10 seconds left. Reno at 37. I've got Tweedledee at 40, and that will do it. Tweedledee at 40. And then Reno come back at 41, just a hair too late. I had Tweedledee at 40 at the 2 minute mark, and that's what I've got to go by. Zach at 42, Kenny at 44. Holy cow, Tweedledee, you got lucky that there's apparently some delay issues because you got outbid a whole bunch there within the next 5 seconds. Time for another license plate. We haven't done a license plate in a little bit. Let's do another license plate. This is a 1965 Kansas, kind of a low number, 155, kind of an orangish red. A little bit of surface rust up here in the corner. Overall, still presents nicely. Back looks pretty good. A little bit of surface rust along the bottom, but a low number on this 1965 Kansas license plate. This is a standard size, the basically, roughly 6x12 size license plate. And it is pretty flat. It's not bent up. It has pretty good colors with the exception of a little bit of surface rust on the 1965 Kansas license plate. So who's going to kick us off on this one? And then we've got some cans, a couple more plates, hood ornaments, some emblems, lots of cool stuff yet coming up as we're getting on the backside of the auctions for tonight. So let's go ahead and see. Sebastian, are there lower than 3-digit plates? Oh, yeah, I've seen plates with single digits on them. They're not very common, but the lower digit ones are typically, a little more desirable than the higher digit ones just because they're a little bit neater. But yeah, I mean, I've seen single digit plates. So Zach, we talked about that a little bit earlier. Norma is She has a torn ACL, so she's not getting around very well. I did call her this week since everybody was asking. I did call Norma this week, and she said that she'll be back on as soon as she can. She misses everybody, but she's just not getting around extremely well. Alec was going to ask with the letters on the left. This is the county. In Kansas, this is the county. This would be Hodgman County. There's 105 counties in Kansas. So these letters denote the county. So this would be Hodgman. Tweedledee at 15. We need to get this on the timer so we can keep moving. Let me get this written up. Let's see. Tweedledee at 15. We are live on this one, ticking down. Let me see what else we got coming up next. Alec at 23. Reno at 20, but I've got Alec at 23 on Facebook. As we're coming up on the 1 minute mark. 1 minute has now passed. I've got Alec at 23. One minute, 20 seconds has passed. I've got Alec at 23 on Facebook on the 1965 Kansas plate. Minute 30 has passed. Yeah, she just said she isn't getting around real well. Hasn't felt like getting on. So 20 seconds left to go. Alec at 23. Reno at 35 on Facebook. Reno at 35 is my high bidder with 10 seconds left to go. Tweedledee at 36. Coming out of the wire. Tweedledee at 36. Few seconds left on this one. Highlander at 37, and that does it. Highlander come out of nowhere right at 200 and snuck that one out of there at 37. Holy cow. Highlander came out of left field on that one at 37. Reno came back in at 37. Holy cow, that was interesting. I got another can that I want to do. It's kind of different. It's not the most exciting can. It's kind of cool, though. I want to see what you guys think of it. It's a kind of a different size. It's had a paper sticker on it. It's a very cool blue, and it's a Bardol grease can. Probably like a 5-pound grease can. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. I'm kind of on the fence about it. I think it's cool, but it's not as cool, but I don't know. I'm curious to see what you guys think. You tell me what you think. If anybody bids on it, we'll sell it. If nobody wants it, we'll throw it back in the can. Bardol all-purpose grease, water-resistant, heat-resistant. Bardol Manufacturing Corporation, Seattle, Washington. It is about 7 3/8, almost 7.5 high. Dennis is going to throw out a $10 bid and get us rolling on it. It does have the original cap. Tweedledee at 15. And it is about 5 7/8 across the top. The back is kind of plain. It's just a good color. A lot of that paint would polish out. The sticker still looks kind of neat on it. So you guys think it's cool, kind of like I do. We see the metal seam on it. Tweedledee at 15. Let's go ahead and kick this thing off and get it on the timer. Dennis at 17. Ryan's on with us for a little bit on Facebook. Glad you stopped by. Dennis at 17. Sebastian does not look like that big can. It's very calm. Yeah, it's kind of a different size. You don't see it all the time. It's not huge and it's not tiny. Dennis at 17. As we're coming up on the 1 minute mark, and we are now past 1 minute, so we are on the back side of this thing. A minute 20 has now passed. Anthony's on with us. Dennis at 17 on the Bardol. We're just past the minute 30 mark. John's on with us on Facebook. And we now have 20 seconds left to go. Dennis at 17 on the Bardol can. Sebastian at 25. 10 seconds left. Sebastian at 25. We're coming down to the wire on this one. And that does it. Sebastian at 25. Who likes Ford badges? Let's do some Ford badges. Ford truck, actually. We'll start off with a set of hood letters. I think these are late 60s, early 70s, maybe. The F, the O, the R, and the D off of, let's see if these have a part number on them. It'll tell me. D0, so 70. So these are going to be 70, 71, 72, probably in that window. Ford truck hood letters. David W. is already at 15 AMC in the other piece. And they just got back from International Lineman Rodeo in Kansas City. Got first place overall apprentice. Congratulations. That's awesome. That's important stuff. So those letters there. Now, the next piece is going to be with this is a V8 badge. I think this is a grill badge off of like a early to mid 50s. It kind of looks like a low pressure casting, and I didn't think Highlander says they might be Bronco. That could be. Between the D says 20. It looks like a low pressure casting, but it actually does say Famoco right here in here. So the studs are broken. So this is an ornamental type piece. The chrome has a very nice bright shine on it on the big V8. It is 8 by 4. 8 inches by 4 inches. That's right, David W. You got to go while Big Job's not on tonight because it's Ford stuff and he gets really tough. So, a set of hood letters and the V8 badge. Let's kick this thing off on the timer. Eric at 21 is my high bidder. And ticking along here, Eric at 21. Alec at 25 on the Ford batch. Haven't given you one of these in a while either to look at. Alec at 25 on my Ford badges. As we're coming up on the 1 minute mark, we're ticking away on this one. And 1 minute has now passed. Any more Ford stuff tonight? Not specifically Ford, no. Not specifically Ford, Anthony, not tonight. Alec at 25. No early badges tonight, Kenny. In fact, we're about done on badges. Anthony at 30. As we're coming up on the minute 30 mark. And 1 minute 30 seconds has now passed. I've got Anthony at 30 on the Ford badge bundle. 20 seconds left. 10. Anthony at 30. David W. at 35. And that does it. David W. at 35. Jason tried to sneak in there too, but David W. had him covered. No real old plates tonight, Highlander. We've got some interesting plates coming up. We'll do another can. Then we're going to do these other interesting plates. It's kind of a cool deal on these other tags that I've got for tonight. They are fairly old, just not not super old 20s and 30s stuff. So let's do another can. This is an all metal, so it's a fairly earlier, probably 60s era Quaker State. This is new. It is full. I will drain it from the bottom. It does have some dings and dents in it, but it does have great color, bright green against the white background. It definitely stands out. That's right. I don't even have any leather ones. I don't have any leather plates at all. But this Quaker State, like I said, I'm guessing it is probably 60s era. It is all metal. We can see the seam over here where it was crimped together. Top, Quaker State motor oil for service, SB non-detergent. Has Quaker State stamped in the bottom. I've got Randy at 10, Dennis at 10 also, but Randy was first. Quaker State Oil Refining Corporation, Oil City, Pennsylvania. Kenny at 15, Quaker State Motor Oil is world famous for its superior lubricating quality, is skillfully refined in Quaker State's own modern refineries from 100% pure Pennsylvania crude oil. Kenny at 15, let's go ahead and get this thing on the timer so we can keep moving. We are live on this one. Dennis at 17 on the Quaker State Court. Some scratches and banged up a little bit, but still it presents pretty well. Jason's got a few soybean plates. Yes, I've got some soybean plates as well. Zach at 19 on the Quaker State all-metal court. Rico at 20. Zach at 22. Joe digs it too. Yep, it's a cool piece. It's got great colors. Zach at 22 is who we've got it right now on the Quaker State. As we are coming up on the 1 minute mark. 1 minute has now passed. We're on the back side of this one. Kenny at 25 is my high bidder. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Appreciate you having my back. Kenny at 25. And 1 minute, 30 seconds has now passed. So we were coming down to the wire on this one. Kenny at 25. If you're going to get in, now's the time. 20 seconds left. 10. Zach at 31. And that does it. Zach, Whiskey Business snuck that one in at 31, and Kenny came back at 33, just a few seconds too late. 51 and 52 Chryslers and DeSotos. I don't have any DeSotos in 1 or 2. I think I've got a 3. Or no, I've got one, I think, that's pretty rough. It's a 51 or 52. And I've got a 51 Imperial and a 51. I've got one other 51 Chrysler. I don't know if it's a Windsor or what. I've got one 51 Imperial, one other 51 Chrysler. I've got one 51 or 2 DeSoto, but there's not much left of it. So, all right, I told you we got some cool license plates coming up. So, time to get out your checkbooks. This is going to be a pair. These are going as a pair. Auburn badge. Because they are consecutive numbers. Okay? So these are going to go as a pair, 2 license plates, 1 price. Funny. They don't look like license plates. They look like paper bags. It's because they're brand new. Brand new, consecutive numbered license plates. Zach already says this one's going to hurt the bank account. Consecutive 1956 in the package Kansas license plates. 10813 and 10814. So, like I told you, Highlander, we didn't have anything super old, but we got something super cool. I think these are pretty cool. Selling together, so they stay together. Been together for 65 years or whatever. Kenny's just kicking us off at $50 right out of the gate. A little bit of surface rust on the back of one of these, but not terrible. Envelopes are numbered, so these are the original envelopes for these tags. 10814. As well as 10813. Labette, LB is Labette County, Kenny. It is in southeast Kansas. So there they are. They what's another thing that's kind of cool about it is if you look real close, like I don't know if you can see it right here or not, there's some flaws in the paint and things like that. That's how they were. I mean, yeah, you think they'd be dust in the wind by now, that's for sure. But they're brand new. Yes, Kansas is 1 plate. You are not required to have a front plate in Kansas. So there they are, consecutive numbers, brand new, 1956 in original envelope Kansas plates. So Kenny's starting us off at $50. We're going to go ahead and put this on the timer, and I'm going to get my notes made, and we'll see what happens. These are great pieces. Kenny might get them for $50. I doubt it, but they are pretty cool. Jeff Taylor at 52, excuse me. Jason at 55. This is the pair, 1 money, brand new with original envelopes. Jason at 55. Kenny came in at 55, but that was after Jason. Kenny's back in at 57. Not much activity going on as we come up and approach the 1 minute mark. Jason's back at 60. 1 minute has passed. Kenny at 62. The original packaging's worth more. Minute 20 has passed. Kenny at 62. We are at the minute 30 mark. 1 minute, 30 seconds has passed. Time to be thinking about your maximum bids. Kenny at 62. 20 seconds left. 15. Kenny at 62. Reno at 75. 10 seconds to go. Reno at 75. Highlander at 76. And that does it. Highlander came in at 76, and that got it. John was at 75 on Facebook after the fact. Highlander at 76. And those are great pieces, that's for sure. Super cool plates. John came back at 87 after the fact on Facebook as well. I don't know if you were feeding slow or what, but we were well done beyond that. But you kind of lucked out, Highlander, because there was people gunning for you. It just came in too late. So, but that's why we put it on the timer, so everybody has a fair shot. We got any some of our ag fans on tonight? Like some of the tractor related stuff? How about an Auburn badge? Got another can coming up for some of our ag related people that I know we got some guys that dig that stuff on here. So I thought we'd go ahead and throw this can out as well. This is a Tracto can. Tracto reduces friction, saves wear, tune-up oil, the Union Petroleum Company. Made especially for and sold by farm equipment dealers, the men most interested in your machinery on the Tracto can. Can looks great. It's got the kind of gear over here, red and blue, red and yellow, or red and blue lettering against the yellow background. Does have a cap on it. It appears to be the original cap. It is a metal can, steel with a steel seam over here. Sebastian starting us off at 10. Back has the instructions and lettering on it. Pretty cool can. Jason at 20. This is 1 U.S. quart, but it is kind of an odd size. It is a taller, skinnier quart. The can is 6 1/4 from here to here. It's about 7 1/4 all the way to the cap. And it is about 3 1/2 in diameter across the can. Jason at 20. Let's go ahead and kick this thing off on the timer and get it rolling. And we are live. Jason at 20 is my high bidder on the Tracto can. Cool looking piece, something a little bit different. But I know you guys like some of this ag stuff, so I try to kind of mix it in a little bit here and there. Dennis at 23. Says Canco down here in the corner. Little trademark stamp. Kenny says year, I'm guessing 50s, but that there again, I don't know this ag stuff that well. It's just a cool can that, kind of ends up, mixed in with some of this stuff. And I know you guys appreciate it. I like this stuff, but it's not right up my alley. And I know some of you guys do. Jason's at 25, so that's why I threw it up here. And 1 minute has now passed on the Tracto can. Jason at 25. And we're coming up on that minute 20 mark. Jason at 25 is my high bidder. I had Dennis at 25, but I had Jason well before that. So coming up on the minute 30 mark. Jason at 25. A minute 30 has now passed. $20 seconds. Dennis at 26. Zach at 29. 10 seconds left to go. Zach at 29. And that does it. Zach at 29. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Appreciate you watching out for me. All right. How about something else super cool? Super cool. Highlander says that's enough money for him tonight. You don't know what I'm going to hold up next, Highlander, though. Although it's not a Ford piece, so you're probably okay. Told you guys I had a hood ornament. Arturo Fiddler remembers reading his grandmother's autobiography about how important oxen were back in the day. And now that's a big that because tractors didn't exist. That's kind of crazy to think about that. But yeah, that was when we take a lot of that for granted today. Hood ornament. Who likes hood ornaments? I know we all like hood ornaments. I love hood ornaments. I got boxes of them. Any Dodge boys on here tonight? Jason's been 30 and that's all he's seen of it. So boom. How about an in-your-face shot? Both of you, Facebook and YouTube, of a ram. Few pits in this thing. Pretty nice chrome. Tweedled's got one. How about a close-up? Boof. Boom. Boom. We got to get Facebook. Got to get head-butted too. We do see some pitting along here, along these lines. Overall, the chrome does still have a nice shine to it. The head is very clear. The lines and the markings in the ram's head are definitely very clear. It is 18 5/8 going like this, straight down the pipe. It's 18 5/8. We can see the spine of the ram goes all the way back here. What year? This is late 40s, early 50s. And it's a pretty nice piece. This one is going to have to bring about $100 before I'm going to sell it because I'll throw it back in my box if it ain't worth $100. So just so you guys know right out of the gate, that's kind of where I need to be on it. It is nice and clean on the bottom. It does still have the original mounting hardware. If you did want to either put it on a car or put it on a board or something, the original bolts are there. Even if you couldn't use them, you have the size and everything. So what do you guys think about the ram's head hood ornament? Bright chrome, cool piece. What do you guys think? I think this is car, actually. I think this one came off a car. I think with this much of a drop-off, I think this was actually a car because Dodge used these on cars as well back in that era. Jason says it is cars, so that's what I was thinking. So there we go. What do you guys think? Is it worth $100 to you or not? So what else we got to do? Let's catch a couple of more things yet tonight before we get moving on. So I'm not sure that I don't know exactly what year it is, Auteur. It's that era. I don't know if it's 48, 49, 50, something like that. So anyway, okay, that's fine. If you guys, it's not a problem with me. You guys want hood ornaments, but obviously hood ornaments are definitely more money sometimes too. So I understand that. Not a problem. We may do it later on down the road. Let's do another hubcap though. So I know you guys like hubcaps. Tweedled's already got one, so let's catch maybe. We'll just do one more hubcap. We may call it a night after that. How about a Pontiac cap? Number one says we sell it by the inch. 51 Chrysler Hilderum. I don't think I've got any extras. Tweedledee's kicking us off at 20 on this one. Appreciate the support on that, guys. Pontiac Motor Division. This is a smaller cap as well. Let me give you some dimensions on it. It is about a 10-inch cap. Eric is at 25. Does say Pontiac Motor Division around the outside edge. These are indentions in them right here. These little ornaments ribbed around the edges all the way around the edge. It is a steel cap with a chrome cap on the metal. Tweedledee at 31. Good looking cap. Let's go ahead and throw this on the timer since we've already got several bids coming in on it. Tweedledee at 31. Eric at 32. And we're ticking along on the Pontiac small cap. Nice bright shine on it. You can see all kinds of stuff in the reflections of it. Reno at 40 on Facebook. Reno at 40. As we tick away and we work our way up towards the 1 minute mark on this little Pontiac cap, I've got Reno at 40. 1 minute has now passed. I don't know when GM stopped using Motor Division on stuff, number one. Never really thought of it. Minute 20 has now passed. I've got Reno at 40. Minute 30 has passed. Reno at 40. 20 seconds left to go. Reno at 40. And 10 seconds left. Reno at 40. And that does it. Reno takes that one home at 40. That's a good looking cap. All right. I think we'll just save the rest of this for later. We still got a long ways to go yet tonight. I'm getting tired already. So I think we will just go ahead and catch that later. Yep, I remember the PMD on Pontiac Centers. Yep, that's for sure. All right. Great auction tonight, guys. Had a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hudson badge. And let's get into tonight's magazine. Like I said, we've been splitting the magazine up, so we're going to catch part of it this week, part of it next week. Zach says it's my birthday. Nobody mad if I end the show early. Tim going to kick off early tonight. We'll see how it goes. We'll do part of the magazine and catch some of that, and then we got to talk about the raffle and do trivia and stuff. So we may cut the magazine a little bit short and finish part of it up next week, but we'll catch a few articles in here to get started with, and we may cut it a little bit short tonight because I am kind of dragging. There's just been a lot going on this week, and that's what happens sometimes. So, but tonight's magazine, Motor Trend, October of 1975. With a Chevette on the front cover. Nope, that's not the answer, number one. So let's catch actually, this is just the international report. Cover price on this in 1975 was $1. And let's catch the international report and some ads. And like I said, we may push some of these articles off till next week. We'll see how things go. But in the international report, obviously, when we taught one thing about Motor Trend of this area, they had either the Detroit report or the international report. What was so great about them is a lot of that stuff, we're looking at it now with 2020 hindsight about what did or didn't happen. So that's what's kind of interesting about these. That's pretty sharp on the details. You definitely got that, number one. But the new Chrysler F-Body used on its Aspen and Volare compacts is the key to long-range future of the firm. This is because Chrysler's tentative model change cycle for the next 5 years envisions using the F-Body chassis as the basis for most of its future intermediate and full-size cars. Despite reports the firm is not abandoning the big car market, but it is going to redesign its family-size car in the same fashion as GM and Ford are reworking their larger models. So, thought that was kind of interesting that they were planning that for that platform in the mid-70s. It's pretty interesting. And there again, obviously this era was a huge turning point, so to speak, for all of the big three, Ford, GM, and Chrysler, as well as AMC, shifting to smaller cars, shifting to front-wheel drive. Everybody was trying to figure out the best, most efficient, most effective way to do it. And that's the thing we've got to do. We've got to put ourselves back in October of 1975, knowing now what happened with the Omni, the Reliant, the K cars, the minivans, what all came in the next 10 years after this. And that's what we hear them talking about, where they were planning for some of that stuff now with some of these smaller platforms they were designing in the mid-70s. It's always kind of interesting. Arturo Fiddler 75 up by a Fury Roadrunner. They were right. The platform lasts about 15 years, so way off the reservation and went with no V8 front-wheel drive model. So there again, but that's what's awesome about looking back in time at this stuff and studying it and checking it out and looking at what really did or didn't happen. Below that, we've actually got a picture that says "Out of the Ashes." Pontiac has shown a rather interesting version of their Ventura compact called the Phoenix. What's interesting about this, since we've got a picture, I'm going to hold it up here so you guys can check it out. I don't know how well you guys can see it now. This doesn't look too far off of what those little cars turned into. But look at the wheels. It almost looks like it's got Corvette wheels on it. I'll tour. They kept that F-body with a V8 for a long time, up to like 88. So got a lot of use out of that. The Phoenix is, in essence, a plastic Ventura. The car uses plastic for all major body panels and is powered by a 152 cubic inch four-cylinder. Pontiac has also pioneered the use of high-density fiberglass in place of steel for such items as the wheels, bumper striker bars, and side door guard beams. Side windows are plastic. Traditional hood is replaced by a smaller access panel. In this manner, the hood panel can be stressed to carry a greater load. So kind of interesting. But there again, that's what's so cool about looking back at these reports. Here we are 45 years later, 47 years later, looking at what, did or didn't happen. Now, next to the Chrysler article we just talked about that V8 platform that they used for multiple years. Yeah, you can definitely see some Ventura in it, Randy. Pete digs it. They did put plastic on the Fiero, that's for sure. But next to the Chrysler article we just talked about, it says, got that? There's more. Chrysler is planning a new subcompact size sportsman wagon and van for 1980. These will be a new family of vans smaller than the present ones and based on the front-wheel drive subcompact. Chevrolet is also working on a new subcompact van. It was first designed a few years ago to accept the Wankel engine and front-wheel drive, but when GM shelved the rotary, the firm redesigned the subcompact van wagon to take the Buick V6. It might be out in 79. We now know those did not come out in 79 and 80, but when they did come out, they took the world by storm and basically created a whole different genre of vehicles of the minivan. So there again, in 1975, Nobody really knew what that was. We do now very well. Next page in the international report. Everything you've heard is true. It's official. AMC has announced an agreement in principle with VW Audi regarding the purchase of Audi 100 engines for an as yet unofficially disclosed project. AMC hopes to eventually produce the power plants in the States using an assembly line provided in part by the Germans. Although it isn't known for sure, it is believed to be the 1984 cubic centimeter, 121 cubic inch unit will eventually find a home in the Gremlin and the Pacer. There again, this is 1975. What's coming? Things like that. Another interesting AMC tidbit in the international report, which didn't actually happen. This was strictly an artist surrendering, but I thought it was definitely well worth checking out. Pacer. Pace car? Pacer, pace car. Well, although it isn't official, Motor Trend contributing artist Harry Bradley came up with this idea for a Pacer Indy 500 pace car. The name makes it a natural. And after all, wouldn't an American Motors car be appropriate for the Indy being held in the year of the American Bicentennial? Does look sort of cute, doesn't it? Well, we know now that didn't happen, but they had a drawing of it. They went ahead and drew up the Pacer pace car. So we're definitely going to check it all out. So since we're looking at it here 47 years later of what didn't happen, this is one of the cool things that we get to take a second, check out, talk about that didn't happen. So much cool stuff in the international report that there's no way to catch it all, but sometimes we do try to squeeze a lot of it in because there is a lot of cool stuff there. But we're going to move on to the next segment called New Products in the October 1975 of Motor Trend. October, the Matador Coupe was a cool AMC in 75. Those were definitely different. We'll do ads next, October. We'll catch the some articles, then we'll do ads. But in the new products section, there's definitely some stuff that will remind you of the 70s in the new products. Starting off with Step Side Love Truck. Randy, wife owns a Pacer, couldn't have shoehorned enough engine in it to pace anything. Step Side Love Truck. Okay, so in fact, it cuts down on load capacity, but it looks neat. Who ever heard of a Step Side mini truck? This conversion is available for Datsun, Toyota, Ford Courier, and Chevrolet Love trucks. The bed is heavy gauge, cold rolled steel. The fenders and tailgate are fiberglass. All necessary hardware and instructions are included for $395. There's even a list of accessories from a tonneau cover to a spare tire mount. Get the rest of the information from California Stepside Manufacturing, and you had to send off for it. So take a look at this thing. You can order these for mini trucks back in the mid-70s. No website, no phone number. You had to send for the information. Pete loved them. He remembers them. Zach, jumping off for the night. Glad you made it. So the step side conversions for mini trucks, the beginning of the mini truck craze, I guess, so to speak, would be the best way to put it. Along with conversions in the 70s, X-Ray remembers them. How about a Volkswagen conversion? VW flatbed. Like I said, we got to remember we're in 1975 right now, so you got to kind of take that into perspective. The VW flatbed, you're looking at it. That really is a VW Beetle converted into a flatbed pickup, and down below is a camper that looks like a refugee from a Woody Allen movie. Both are fiberglass and made by a company called Domus, D-O-M-U-S. The pickup kit is $399, while the camper goes for $549. And both are supplied with all pieces, instructions, precise templates, and many specially made components. The company claims the average home installation of a unit is 12 to 15 hours. For information and a color brochure, send $1 to Domus in Kansas City, Missouri. So there's your flatbed Volkswagen conversion kit if you didn't have a mini truck to modify. Ozark Fox said his neighbor had a yellow love with that bed. German farm truck. There you go. Another cool kit. Been years since it's seen that. But that's why we do it. That's why we look at these old magazines. It does take us back in time. The Javelin engine compartment looks like it was designed with a big block Chevy in mind. Something else from the 70s that we'll all remember. Specific sunshade. Although they look solid from the outside, these sunshades are actually transparent from inside the car. Called Boulder tints, they have the effect of mirrored sunglasses when viewed from the outside, but a 20% gray from the inside. They will not interfere with forward vision. Each tint is cut specifically for the individual car and carries the identification of the vehicle. The effect is to reduce eye strain from sky glare and lower car interior temperature. They are available from many accessory stores or directly from MG Mitten in Pasadena, California for $13.95 a piece. So who remembers these sunshield stickers with the car name across the front of your windshield? There again, we got to put ourselves back in time. We got to step back a few decades. I was obviously a little kid, but I still remember some of this stuff in the early 80s, that type of stuff with your car name on across the windshield. So, and some of you other guys remember them too. So, but that's the point. That's what makes this cool. That's what makes this fun. Number one, there's a mini truck with that bed for sale, and it's classified up in Canada right now. That's kind of cool. Let's catch the ad or the article on the Chevette, and then let's catch some ads, and then we will do the rest of this magazine next week. Appreciate that, guys. Appreciate keeping an eye out for me. But the 1976 Chevette, the cover car, Chevy's bold small car gamble. Obviously inside black and white, color on the cover. I'll tell you, I was a teen in 75 in the Detroit area. Japanese cars had no appeal at all. And I still don't care about Japanese cars. I still have no desire to own them. I end up with some of them on bulk buys and drain the fluids, cut the cats, stack. That's where they go. They're weight to me. Toyotas, Nissans, Hondas, I don't care. Kias, I don't care. It's all weight to me. I don't keep any of that stuff. It gets to go be flat. But on the Chevette, obviously this was pretty new, for the time. This was a big deal. They were really trying to come up with good quality subcompact cars, and they were doing anything they could at that point. So on this Chevette, it actually has a cutaway. These were rear-wheel drive of the chassis, a cutaway of the engine. Randy had one, a 76, 32 mile per gallon all day long. Here we see the cutaway layout of the drivetrain in the Chevettes, the cutaway of the four-cylinder engine that these had, as well as some detailed pictures, interior, the hatchback open, showing you all the room you had in your new Chevette. The scooter, this is your basic Chevette scooter, your very basic Chevette scooter. Officially, it is tagged model 1TJ08 and is listed as a two-seater. The rear seat is an option. So the basic Chevelle didn't even come with a rear seat, or basic Chevette didn't even come with a rear seat. The rear seat is an option. Most external chrome has been removed and replaced with rubber weather stripping or, as in the case of the bumpers, paint. Notice the rubber floor mats, the very simple design, and the fiberboard snap-on door panels. They've kept exterior colors to 4: red, cream, light blue, and white. Not quite as bad as a Model T, but not many more options. Interior trims, you get black or you get buckskin. Chevy pulled out some of the sound deadening materials and the interior convenient features, including the glove box door, the passenger seat adjuster, and the hatchback door telestruts. You have to use a prop rod to hold the third door up. Chevrolet even restricts the options you can order on the scooter. We'll guess the base price is under $2,700. Actually, Dean had a friend with a Chevette with a 454. A car that small really needed to be front-wheel drive. Yeah. Alan, have had 51 American cars and 0 imports since 1970. I'm right along with that. Like I said, the stuff I've ended up with, other than, well, my Ferrari was Italian, I guess. I had an Italian car when I had a Ferrari, but any Asian stuff, I don't have nothing to do with it. So that's about as basic as it gets. No sound deadening, no glove box door, no passenger seat adjuster, no hatchback struts. It doesn't get much more basic than that. After the scooter, you have the custom exterior option. Custom exterior option. A sport decor option with side stripe, the Rally 1.6 option, and the Woody, which has simulated wood grain side panels. All right. Stepping up in the world, the Chevette world. Scooters are like cigarette butts in the high school parking lots, littered. I seen a guy one time take a Chevette and put a 327 in it with a 1471 blower. That was interesting. Yeah, you had a car with a 90-inch wheelbase and a blower with like a 28-inch wheelbase. So it was interesting to say the least. A friend in high school had a Chevette. Garages gave us used oil to put in it. Arthur would about a 5-year-old Le Mans for half the price of a new Chevette, and the Le Mans would have lasted 10 years longer. That's a good point. That's a very good point. But there again, you know, GM, Chrysler, Ford, they were all trying to come up with a good quality, low price subcompact, and that's what they had in 75. Yeah, it was a 14. I mean, it was the Huffer was, like I said, it was half the length of the car, it seemed like. I was like, you guys are nuts. They tried to make some hits in it. It wouldn't go very straight, but it was pretty interesting to say the least. But yeah, the blower was like literally half the length of the car, I think. That was a long time ago, but I still know the guy. He's buddies with my buddies down in Missouri, Palmer and Goolsby. He hangs out with those guys. I was like, man, I still remember that day you showed up with that car. That was nutso. And what the heck? They tried it. So we'll wrap up with the Chevette ad. The next article we're going to get into is a pretty good sized article. So we'll go ahead and push that off to next week and catch the ads for this week so we can kind of keep moving on and do some trivia, the raffle, and the videos that are coming up. But we'll start off with brake fluid ad for STP. Obviously, STP got into a lot of different markets as opposed to just their engine oil additive. Here's a good example of that in 1975, STP brake fluid. You're only as safe as your brake fluid. That's right, Kenny. It was a motor with a Chevette attached. That's pretty much what it amounts to. The dumb thing about the Chevette was they only sold 3- and 5-door hatches in Brazil. They had 2-door coupes, 4-door sedans, and wagons, and they raced them. So I'm sure I would love a Pinto or a Mustang, but I hate to even look at Chevettes. Speaking of the new compact cars, the 1976 Oldsmobile Starfire GT. Can we build one for you? Obviously, this is the Monza platform. Monza, Starfire, Skyhawk, and Sunbird platform. The little small hatchback coupes that were a little sportier than the basic Chevette. I don't think they were much faster, but you could get a V6 in them. In fact, I think you could even get a small V8 in a Monza, if I'm not mistaken. But there again, they were doing whatever they could to try to come up with something interesting that people would bite on, because this compact car market was kind of a different thing for the big three at that point. The next ad is kind of went all out. 4 pages in color of AC Delco. A lot of good things for your car at a time when you need the most. These days, taking care of your car with the right quality parts is more important than ever. That's why it's a good time now to see your AC Delco service man. AC Delco has a line of reliable quality parts, everything from AC spark plugs, oil and air filters, to batteries, brakes, and shock absorbers. AC Delco and General Motors are names you know well, names that mean quality and manufacture. I sure actually like those coupes. Buddy had a 350 V8 Monza. Yeah, I think those cars were kind of neat for their day. X-Ray says they were basically Vegas, But I think they were kind of neat little cars, and you don't see them hardly ever anymore. You ain't seen one of those in a while yet either, have you? Yeah, better slide that up. But not only is this AC Delco ad cover that page, it actually goes 2 more pages with color, which is kind of crazy. There again, even the Chevette article, the cover car article was black and white. So to do a 4-page color ad was a pretty big deal. Classic Ride Society. Did you hear about the auction in Colorado? Yeah, I heard all about it. Vanderbrink had a big one of 59 and 60 Chevys yesterday. I didn't look at any of the results or anything. But yep, I definitely did hear about it. How about Quaker State? We just sold a Quaker State can. How about Quaker State Racing Motor Oil? Put a great track record in your car. We don't design Quaker State Racing Oil for racing machines, but it's nice to know some very good mechanics use it for every race. Quaker State, your car to keep it running young. There again, black and white. Color was a pretty big deal at that point. So, still seeing black and white ads, and this is 1975. Along with that, another big two-color, two-page color ad. What is that car? I don't know what the car was. I really couldn't tell. Actually, it says Jaguar on it. It says Jaguar on the lower. I don't have any idea what kind of Jaguar it is. It just says that on it, or I wouldn't have any clue. But the next ad, there again, 2-page full color for Prestone antifreeze. Prestone shows how antifreeze can keep your car from freezing and still allow corrosion to destroy it. That's what this whole article is talking about, how corrosion in your cooling system can still do a lot of damage, which is true. And this gave a lot of the details and specifics about it. There again, 2-page full color, really going all out when the cover car does not even get color for the magazine. So another ad we're going to check out. This is backed by the mini truck ad, or the mini truck deal. And this there again, I love going back in time and put it in perspective. Classic Ride Size Sucks only had a 1-day Friday to preview, or else it would have gone 13-hour drive. That'd be a long haul, yeah. The Gaylord Corporation. Gaylord floor mats. And this is what's so great about this. You can order any of these from the Gaylord Corporation. Call toll-free 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Order now from the Gaylord Corporation, and you can get these super classic, super classy floor mats. Also soon to be available in mud flaps. They just didn't know it at the time. For the Yosemite Sam and the Devil and the Keep On Truckin'. Who remembers the old floor mats from the 70s? Here they are. And as a matter of fact, the Pinto that I just sold, the Pinto wagon actually had these Keep On Trucking floor mats in them. So I know these are going to remember take some people back. Obviously, the Yosemite Sam mud flaps became a big deal. This ad was primarily for floor mats, but as we all know, pretty much all these became available in mud flaps as well. If not at this point, probably just a few years later. So there again, that's what's great about these magazines. They take us back in time and check some of this stuff out. Pete digs it, and that's why it's fun. Randy remembers them. There again, that's the whole point of doing these magazines. That's what makes them fun, checking this stuff out. Arthur may still have a stray Yosemite Sam somewhere. Devin Stroud's on finally. So let's catch one more ad, and then we're going to wrap this thing up and get on. There again, big full-page ad in black and white. I bet you're right, Ozark. I bet you can still order some of that stuff. One for the record book, Die Hard Batteries. It started 32 out of 33 cars in this year's Indy, including the winner. And it started the winner of the 72 Indy, the winner of the Can-Am in 73 and 72. So really, really talking about the Sears Die Hard Battery, which, as we now know, is a a brand name in and of itself because they sold the brand, I think, to Advance. The Sears Die Hard batteries, they were iconic for years. We all remember them. The name still lives, but it's just been sold off since Sears has kind of went down the tubes. But it does still have the Sears logo on it with the Die Hard battery. Gaylord, you can't even have a name like that anymore. That's true. Actually, I had some in a C10. Kenny's buddy had them in a Maverick. So Tony's brother has a pair of the Sams. So there again, that's what's so great. That's what's so fun about this stuff. Brian Dispatch is fading bad. That's fine, buddy. Go get some sleep. We know you need the rest. You got to get better. So get some rest. And we're not going to go too much longer here anyway because I'm starting to drag too. That's right. Yeah, Advance Auto bought the name. So we'll go ahead and call that for tonight for the magazine. We'll go ahead and get into the rest of it next week because, like I said, the next article after this was a pretty lengthy one. And we've still got a few things I want to get done tonight, and it's starting to get late. Obviously, some of you guys need to get off, and I understand that. So we still got Hudson badges, though. Oh, look at that. Yeah, look for a cover to one of those to put on a modern battery. Anthony digs it. So there again, I'm glad you guys are liking the magazines and taking a little more time with them instead of skimming them seems to be working out great. I've had a lot of positive feedback from you guys as far as splitting them up a little bit and taking some time and getting a little more out of them. And that seems to be, I know I'm learning more because I'm not just skimming them to look for stuff. I'm actually getting a little more info out of them. I'm glad that that's working out well for you guys, and I'm glad you're seeing that as well. Devin's cousin says 89 Ford's got hot diehards that struggle to start it. What do you think of the downfall of Sears? I don't really know. Pete says it was greed. Obviously I grew up on Sears. I grew up on JCPenney's. I grew up on all of those. I mean, that's what we had. Even in my town, we had TG&Y, Gibson's, Alco, and that's all gone. It's all Walmart now. Sears was such a broad line product. And obviously you look at Amazon and things like that now to where, for Christ's sake, the Sears catalog was iconic for decades. That's right. Walmart and the internet's pretty much probably what did it. Number one, I don't think you're too far off with that. But you sit here and you wonder that, Sears was essentially the grandfather of mail order and just got overran. I just don't think they shifted to the internet. I mean, had they shifted to the internet like Amazon did, maybe they would have been Amazon. Who knows? Mismanagement of funds at Kmart and Sears. Yeah, that's true. They did combine, and it didn't get any better after that. So, and they sold off a lot of just like selling off Die Hard batteries, they sold off Craftsman tools. They sold off all those names. So, Anthony misses the Sears catalog. Yeah, I remember looking through the Sears catalog when I was a kid. So there's probably a million different ways to slice it, but I would say the Walmart and the internet, like number one said, is probably the two premium factors. And there again, I don't think anybody, maybe Bezos obviously picked it up pretty quick as far as retailing on the internet. Had Sears done that, maybe they could have maintained their position as essentially the mail order kings, but they didn't, and they're essentially gone now. So, Kenny's good mag, appreciate it. How old am I? Okay, that's fine. I guess I'm now 48. Don't feel like 48, but I guess I am. I think I'm like 22, but I know my body doesn't think I'm 22, but I think I'm like 22. But I know I feel it a lot different. I got a couple of Hemis I'm getting ready to ship back east. I've been working on getting some Red Ram Hemis ready to ship, and I can tell you get into doing that much work. And obviously, I got the loader and everything. I'm not doing it manually, but just getting into weird corners, working weird angles, climbing up and down, doing that type of stuff. I can definitely tell it there. So, Tour Finland looking for a beautiful 68 Gulf and Western 2-page ad that had 68 muscle cars parked around a GT40 at a racetrack with Gulf and Western colors. I do not remember that ad, but it sounds like a killer ad. So if anybody's got a copy of that laying around, Arturus Fiddler is a player on it, and that sounds actually I would like to see that too. That sounds like a great piece. Sears struggles due to credit cards, lost big money there. Hadn't heard that part of it, but that's also a possibility. Sears catalog the outhouse. I always heard that too. I never used an outhouse, but I've heard that's where they ended up. Sears sold over 150 different house styles. Yep, I remember that you could order your house, you could order your car, you could order anything from Sears in the 50s. I don't look at they over 46. Thanks. I actually do get mid-30s a lot. Believe it or not, I do still get mid-30s quite a bit. So I'm gonna take that as a win. So I'll go with anybody that thinks says mid-30s. I go with it. I'm not going to argue with that. But that's what I get probably more than anything. How about a Hudson badge? Throwing sparks. Sears catalog is a staple in the outhouse at the county camp. That's right. That's at Sears sold Henry car. They were the Henry J. Actually, Allstate. Actually, you're right. Allstate was the Sears branded one of the Henry J. So you could order your house, you could order your car, you could order everything from the Sears catalog. So let's see. Devin Sears, they used to buy everything at Sears, everything from the farm to the house, everything was at Sears. Thanks for the birthday wishes as always. Sears catalog sold everything. That's right. White 6800 fast top right in the middle of the circle near this GT40 ad came out in 68. That one I don't remember that one, so I'll have to keep my eyes peeled for it. So anyhow, Auburn badge. But yeah, anyway, kind of got off on the Sears thing. But like I said, I do remember it. I remember it well. I remember the Sears catalog. It is just a shame that they basically have evaporated into history at this point. 68 Chrysler New York. Yep, I do have one of those. I do have a 68 New Yorker Tudor hardtop. Brian says, my grandfather said I'm just a kid. Well, hopefully. I don't feel like it some days anymore. But so anyway, that's what we've got for the magazine tonight. Let's catch some trivia. Let's talk about the raffle. Let's talk about next week videos. And then let's go ahead and get ready to wrap up. We are pushing 3 hours, so I know a lot of you guys are getting tired. I know I'm getting tired. Help you out a little Auburn badge action, though. But let's do some trivia. We'll see how good number one is tonight. Now, I'm not even going to say he's not going to get it because he probably will. I give you 90 seconds on trivia, just for the simple fact that I want to sit it for 5 minutes while people are trying to find the answer. Trying to make it tricky this week just because of number one. So we're going to give away a Pontiac badge tonight. This is a plastic Pontiac Indian head. This was double-sided tape on the Pontiac badge for trivia tonight. 90 seconds is what you've got, which number one usually needs like 3. Sometimes Withrow's right in there with him too. So we'll see how good you guys are this time. Trying to be specific and detailed. Everyone says I know a lot of trivia, says Artur. Well, let's see. We'll see how fast you guys are. Speaking of Pontiacs, Toy Tuesday in the matchbooks. The 1939 Pontiac matchbook, where was that dealer located? What city and state was that dealer located? Keep an eye out. Keep an eye out. City and state of the 39 Pontiac dealer matchbook, because we're giving away a Pontiac piece. Maybe. We'll see. Appreciate the support on that stuff. Well, number one wasn't on with us on Tuesday, so we'll see if anybody gets it. With number one and Withrow, some of you guys, I got to be pretty specific on some of these. So nothing as of yet. Jason missed it. Few guesses coming in, but nothing that's right. Keep an eye on our Facebook page as well, just in case some of those guys may have hung out with us on YouTube on Tuesday night. 1 minute down. Looks like it may have stumped you. I'm trying to make it tricky because some of you guys are getting too good, so I'm trying to make it tricky. Number one says he feels a huge amount of shame tonight. That's all right. I'm trying to be tricky about it. And that will do it. And nobody got it. Everybody guessed actually everywhere around it. Colorado, Missouri, Oklahoma, all that stuff was coming in. The dealership, what town was the dealership matchbook from for the 39 Pontiac? Kansas, Salina, Kansas. It was about 70 miles from me. So, but that's okay. That's the point of having trivia and playing along is that, sometimes you guys are like that. Sometimes I stump you. Sometimes I think I got you stumped. And boom, somebody will nail it. So, Anthony, Tuesdays are too short. By the time I log in, the stream's over. It usually goes 15 or 20 minutes. So, on Tuesday nights, sometimes we're a little longer than that, but usually it's about 15 or 20 minutes. But that's okay. I mean, we'll do so. We'll do it again next week. We'll give something else away. It's all in good fun. That's the whole purpose. So. Oh, I know you had a bunch. Number one, Tulsa winch, Ford-O-Matic transmission, 56 Y block, 56, 55 GMC bumper bar. I don't even remember where some of that stuff came from. I honestly don't remember where some of that came from. Les Almond Chevy. I remember where that one came from. So, but that's what makes it fun. You guys are good. We have a great time with it. And that's the whole purpose. Raffle. We're giving away that sign in 2 weeks. Who's in? Who is in the big Buick oil can as of right now? Names are going in there every week. Like I tell you guys every week, I do these week by week. The Chevy Buick matchbook was awesome. That's for sure, Brian. I do agree with that. Nudge and badge. Halloween in 2 weeks. Invite the kids and the grandkids. The first week, here's who is in. Tweely D, Jason Withrow, Zach Thompson, Reno Holland, Kenny Peterson, Ron Walensky, and Alec Blanchett. That's who got in the first week. The second week, Ozark Fox, the Crown Vic Regionals were in Salina last week. I didn't even know that. Who got in this week? Tim Page, David Woodcocks, Zach Thompson, Jason Withrow, Kenny Peterson, and Alec Blanchett. So that's who is in right now. If you think you have paid me in the last 2 weeks to get in on the Delco sign raffle, please let me know to make sure we get it straightened out, to make sure your name is in the big Buick oil can on October 30th when we give the Delco sign away. So that's what we've got for now. That's who is in. Auburn. Now, what's coming up next week in video-wise? Videos, what's coming up? We'll do another one from my buddy's yard. I've got 3 or 4 more of those yet to go, so I'll keep working some of those in. Got a little bit of new inventory we need to share with you. Got some more inventory updates I need to do. Like I explained to you on that one video, everything out in front along the highway in front of the buildings, a lot of project stuff, been sitting there for a year or two. Have not had any serious offers on that stuff. It's going to go to the back, and I'm going to cut it up and part it out and move some more stuff up front that is also more complete, project stuff that's kind of scattered around back that needs to be up front where people can see it. I've got probably 2 more videos to do up there, maybe 3, on stuff that if you're interested in it, you need to let me know before I start cutting it apart. Or if you've been waiting, some of that stuff I know you guys have been waiting on parts off of it. If there's something you see that you've been waiting on parts off of it, give me a call. It's time to do something with it. So we'll be bringing you that up. How many on the pickup list? About 50. Got about 50 to get. And I didn't pick anything up this week, so I didn't gain any ground. The only thing that happened this week, I got a call on 2 more that said, hey, I got these other 2 dug out if you still want them. So I didn't completely commit to them yet, but I'm sure I'm going to end up with those 2 as well. So inventory updates, some new inventory, Franks, plus Something you guys have been pestering me about for a long, long time, and I haven't done it. Videos on my good cars. I did have to get one out this weekend. The Martinique Blue 78 Trans Am. I did get it out yesterday. So while I had it out, I did a video on it. I did about a 10 or 11 minute walk around video on the Marty Blue 78 Trans Am. So Alner's Woolworths. Yep, that's another good one. So I will be bringing you that video as well. I don't know, Wednesday night, maybe Friday night. Ozark Fox got one car picked up. Hey, you did better than I did this week. So if you kind of been waiting on some of that stuff, a lot of you guys, no, I didn't lay any rubber with it. I've been waiting on some of my good cars. So that one was out. I did a video on it. I even got the file out on it. I'll give you guys a little bit of a heads up what's in this file that we're going to show you on the video. On my Marty Blue 78 Trans Am, when that car was ordered in 1978, now if you're going to order a new car, it says I should have warmed them up, you got to figure out what kind of options you want, right? What options you want on your new car. I have the piece of notebook paper where the original owner wrote down all the options they wanted on that car. This is his list. He was ordering this for his wife. This was the list they made of what they wanted on the car. They went to the local Pontiac dealer, Elliott Pontiac. They talked to Henry Peacock, the transportation counselor at Elliott Pontiac. They priced out the entire list as they wanted the car ordered. Delco AM/FM stereo radio with 8-track stereo, $341. That's a lot of money. Power windows, $128. Hood decal, $66. Tinted glass. Cruise control, $95. Air conditioning, $518. T-top removable glass panel, $625. So you start thinking, you put that into perspective of what things cost. That was a lot of money. Does not have rear seat console. I don't think that was available in 78. I do have a rear seat console, but I don't think that was available in 78. It never had one. I've never seen a 78 with them. The one that I've got came out of a 77. But I've never seen one in a 78, and I don't think it was available. So there's the list and the price from the Pontiac dealership here in Great Bend that when they had him spec the car out of what they wanted option-wise. However, they didn't buy the car there. They didn't order the car there. They actually ordered the car in Larned, Kansas at Al Hankin Motors, the Pontiac Buick GMC truck and AMC dealer in Larned, Kansas. Speaking of Marty, the Marty reports on Ford products, absolutely. Maybe you could package that rear console with a single gauge pod rabbit dash to save us both some money. Yeah, I don't want to get rid of the console. I just got one. Here is the sales receipt from July of 78. Now, he did make notes on this. After he stapled this all together with his list, he made a note over here on May 2nd of 78. He ordered the car, but he did not order it from them. He ordered it from Hankins in Larned. July 10th of 78 is when the car showed up. Here's the sales receipt from the day they picked the car up from Hankins, as well as the odometer statement stating the car had 13 miles on it as it left the dealership in July of 78. So kind of some interesting history on that car. I mean, I don't have the window sticker or anything. Of course, you can get those reprinted. But I've got the guy's original notes from when he spec'd the car out. So I will be bringing you that video. And as I move cars around, I get something out, I will keep I'll keep throwing that stuff out there for you guys. Mike, it was fairly late in the model year for a special. Well, they ordered it in May. They ordered it in May of 78. So by July of 78, yeah, you probably couldn't have ordered it. But by May, they were still taking orders for that model year. So, yeah, David W., it is great to have all that stuff. it's the car's been here its whole life. So, and it's not perfect. It's got 46,000 miles on it. It was used for transportation. It's got dings, it's got scratches, but it's original. So yep, it is cool stuff to have. Pete, that's. But like I said, and I tell a little bit more of the story about that car. That car was kind of a unicorn. It was a car that everybody had heard about, but nobody knew if it still existed because it hadn't seen daylight in 15 or 20 years. And so it was always one of those unicorns that, well, they had it. Do they still have it? Nobody knew. Nobody'd seen it. It hadn't been in daylight for so long. Well, they still had it. And eventually, I did actually have the opportunity to buy the car, and was super excited when I did have the opportunity to buy the car. So we'll bring you that video as well. So, but anyway, that's what I've got for tonight. We'll give you guys another Hudson badge, another Auburn badge. I will keep an eye on comments here for just a few more seconds. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate that. It is a great story. But I'm lucky I got the opportunity to buy the car. That's what I was excited about. So anyhow, that'll pretty much do it for me tonight. We still got a pretty full episode in, even though we're going to push one article the next week. But the National Road Project, we spent a lot of time on that we normally wouldn't. I will keep you updated on the National Road Project. Be sure to check out their website. Be sure to check out the ION website to get an idea of what we're working on. And I'm excited about seeing how that project comes together as well. That's right, Brian. They are only original once, and you're still hanging in there with us. So you got to get some rest, man. You've got to get some rest. Scott says, great show on Facebook. Pete, have a great week, everybody. Absolutely. Keep an eye out if anything else pops up here for just a few more seconds as we get ready to wind this thing down. Had a great time with you guys, as always. Hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight and had fun on the auctions. We'll see what we get put together next week, and we'll have some more fun then. We'll do another promo. We'll do some more badges and emblems, and we will finish up this magazine. Tuesday night, we have a viewer box for Toy Tuesday, so you definitely don't want to miss that. 7 o'clock Tuesday evening, we will do a viewer box. Thanks for all of the support, all the great show comments. I'm glad you guys had fun. Thanks for all the birthday wishes tonight. It was great. And you say thanks to me for what I do, but it's thanks to you guys for being here and making this what it is. Your knowledge, your expertise, along with mine, is what helps make this a chat. Not me just sitting here preaching to everybody. Your guys' input is always welcome. And that's what makes this thing so great. So that's right. Welcome to all the new somebodies. That's absolutely number one. Brian got his second win. So we'll go ahead and wrap up so you can get some sleep then. That'll do it for me. Like I said, another video from my buddy's yard. We'll do the Trans Am video. We've got some new inventory. We got to do an inventory update. And we will do a viewer box Tuesday night live at 7 o'clock. I am definitely going to have some cake here in a little bit for sure. I don't know if I'll do bourbon with cake or not, but I'm going to have some cake for sure. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the birthday wishes tonight. And you guys are what make this thing great. Tell your friends about it. Let's see if we can get some more of your buddies on and have a little bit bigger group on here that and have a great time. I know on this time of the year we're up against Sunday Night Football, and I know that affects us some. Obviously, you guys may be making some comments that we're back and forth between the game, and I understand that. Number one, just don't lose all your money on the game. So anyway, I think that'll catch us. Definitely hope to see you guys all next Sunday night back here, 7 o'clock, Sunday night live chat. More Sunday night shenanigans. Full week coming up. Hope to see you Tuesday night. Be sure to catch the new videos as they're coming out. Oh, one more thing. I forgot. I broke my mic. If you guys watched the video Friday night, I had some wind noise on it. I broke my mic. I've got a little deal that plugs in right here to the end of my phone, which is the receiver. I put a transmitter on me. I got the receiver on here. Getting ready to do a video the other day. I got my arms full of stuff. Dropped my phone. The receiver was already plugged in. It landed right on the receiver. Pop, snapped it off. So I've got a new mic ordered. So hopefully I will get that soon. And I apologize for the wind noise on Friday night's video. That's what happened. Brian says hit the like button one more time. That'll do it, I think. Yep. Kenny, glad to be part of number 134 and definitely be back. Yes, this was episode number 134. As bonkers as that sounds, that's insanity to me. You guys keep coming back. We keep having fun. Appreciate your support. Thanks for being here. We will see you live Tuesday night and definitely hope to see you back here next Sunday night, 7 o'clock Central Time, for episode number 135 of Sunday Night Live Chat. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you Tuesday, and if not, definitely hope to see you next Sunday.